Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Middays with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. The first hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I got a piece of land out in the countryside. Lay back and smell the sun. Warm up the Georgia pie. Feels so good to be taking it easy. Why would I ever leave? 'Cause I know I got some good.
I'll be honest with you, this is very strange. You know me, I am the life of the party. I love to get fired up at the beginning of the show, and we got a great show planned for you, but it's just, it doesn't feel right to be my usual jovial self at the start of the show after the circumstances of yesterday and the tragic and horrific mass shooting that happened right here in our own backyard. We welcome you into Sports 56 Middays. I am Greg Gaston. Eli has off today. Zach Boyd is with me producing the program. We're in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Go visit them this weekend. Also, the first hour of the program is brought to you by Action 24/7. So we got a ton to talk about. The Grizzlies have finalized their camp roster. Camp opens up next week. We'll be at FedEx Forum on Monday for Media Day after not being able to do it at all last year. We're excited about that. The NBA season right around the corner. So we'll tell you about the transactions that were made yesterday with the roster. The Ryder Cup is underway from Whistling Straits in Wisconsin. The Europeans, the United States, and they are going at it with 4 matches already today. The foursomes, that's the alternate shot. We will give you an update on that as well. Week 3 of the NFL season underway after last night's Carolina win over Houston. We'll talk plenty of college football, get you set as we've done all week long for the Tigers game with UTSA, a showdown of 3-0 teams tomorrow at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium, a busy schedule overall. Arkansas has that game at Jerry's World against Texas A&M. Ole Miss does have the week off as they get ready for Alabama. LSU and Mississippi State from Starkville. Tennessee, a huge one in the Swamp against Florida. It's just a great, great sports weekend. And as far as guests are concerned, we're going to talk with our friend Dave Sampson, the former president of the Miami Marlins. He's the host of the Nothing Personal podcast. We'll get him in about 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes. Talk Major League Baseball. The Cardinals are on absolute fire. Their longest winning streak in 39 years. We'll get his thoughts on some of the teams preparing for the postseason and a couple of more races going down to the wire as we have the last weekend and week. So a week and a weekend left to go in the regular season before the Major League Baseball playoffs. We'll talk to Dave about that. At 11:05, John Varlas. He joins us every Friday during the prep football season. We'll get his thoughts on the big games that are on schedule for tonight, and the weather is absolutely fantastic. So get on out there, support your team, your school, your kid's school, and just high school football in general as the weather looks to be fantastic. At 11:30, we'll talk to Drew Hill, also from the Daily Memphian, like John is. He is the Memphis Grizzlies beat writer for the Daily Memphian, and we'll talk to him about what the expectations are for the Grizzlies, what we expect from camp, again, which opens up next week. And then at 12:05, we'll turn our attention to the National Football League. Randy Fichtner, former Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator and former Memphis Tigers offensive coordinator, he will join us to take a look at what's happened so far through the first couple of weeks of the NFL season. At 12:30, we'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. We have another terrific prize package for you. So get ready for that a little bit later on in the show. And as I said, next week, we'll start things off at Grizzlies Media Day. And this next week will be historic. It'll be our last week in the Middays time slot. After 16 years, we are moving to the mornings, 7 to 10, starting on October 4th. I got to be honest with you, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for me. To fall asleep early has always been a challenge. To go to sleep early has always been a challenge. We'll see. But I'm looking forward to a whole massive throng of folks that normally wouldn't be able to listen to us in the midday hours, that'll be going to work or going to school or getting their kids ready, that are there to listen to Sports 56 morning. So we got that going on, but that won't be until October 4th. Yesterday, finished up our show, 1 o'clock, went to the gym. I try to get to the gym 3-4 times a week. Had no idea what was happening in Collierville. No idea. So I saw a buddy who was in the gym, and he was sitting. He wasn't working out. I was wondering what was going on with him. So I kind of finished. Didn't want to interrupt my workout. I'm listening to music as I always do, and I go over to him. I said, "What's going on?" And then he tells me. Now, some of the details he had ended up not being true, which was good, but it was still horrible. We have 1 fatality plus the shooter, 13 others injured, some critically. So our thoughts and prayers are with everybody, and especially those families, as we hope that all those who were injured will pull out, and we'll pull out of this, and those who are in critical condition will survive. It was just mind-boggling, but then again, it wasn't, because we've seen so much of this around the country, somewhat around the world, but most of it happens in the United States. And I'm not going to go on any soapbox here. Look, it's horrible. And then you'll say, what are you going to do differently next? You're not going to do anything differently. There's not much you could do. People, their regard for human life is ridiculous. Some people, that what seems like a disgruntled employee just went in and open fired on people. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't know what's going through this guy's mind. I don't know if he had, mental issues. You would think you have mental issues to do something like that, but nowadays, again, the regard for human life is not there, so maybe it's not just like a mental deal. But for all those people, all those poor families, and the horror of yesterday. And then I listened to the news, watched the news, press conferences, the Collierville police, other law enforcement agencies, the local FBI that was involved, the first responders just seemed to do an amazing job. Those who ran into Kroger not knowing what was going on. They didn't know if there was multiple shooters, if the guy had what type of weapon he had, where the shots were coming from, just all that, to just run in there to try to save people. And there were heroes, especially some of those Kroger workers, what they were able to do to try to help people, whether they be fellow workers or customers, to get them to safety. And unfortunately, some were not able to get to safety. I'm sure we'll hear a lot more about it today. And then the individual took the cowardly way out, killed himself. So we may never know what the reason was. But again, most people believe there was some sort of firing, perhaps this disgruntled employee type thing, which we've heard before. What was sad was, one of the many things. So I get up this morning to check the news for an update, because I knew that I would talk at least the first few minutes of the show about this. And I know that the local news has the coverage, and they've done outstanding job. But I go into Fox News, and then CNN News on my phone, on the web, to see if there's any updates on the stories. There wasn't even a story on it. There was yesterday. There wasn't a story on it today, which again hammers home the point that we are almost, I hate to say this, nonchalant about these mass shootings anymore. Just, they happen so commonplace now that we take it with a grain of salt. And that is sad. And especially when it comes into our backyard, like it did. So again, I'm moving on to what I get paid for, is to talk sports. But think about all those who have been affected by it, those who were injured, the families of those people, the employees, how they must just be lost right now mentally. I mean, to go through and see what was happening in front of them, this horrific scene. But have them in your thoughts and in your prayers. Okay, we move on. The Ryder Cup is underway. That is one of the great golf events. You may not be the biggest golf fan, but if you just like the competition and the whole spirit of the United States, USA, then the Ryder Cup is for you. And it's underway from Whistling Straits. And it's funny, I was listening to PGA Tour radio earlier, and they were talking about how it's almost like a European venue in the United States, playing at Whistling Straits. It's cold. They're wearing vests and sweaters. And it's on Lake Michigan, so you got the breeze. It doesn't seem like your typical American golf course. It seems more suited for the Europeans. That's what I heard the guys talk about. I don't know if that'll come to fruition. But the Europeans, once again, are the underdog. I don't care how many times that they win, the Europeans. And they won, I think, 4 of the last 5, 4 of the last 6. Won the last time in France. They always seem to be the underdog. So here's where we are right now with the foursomes today. That's alternate shot. So you got a twosome of Americans, a twosome of Europeans, and the Americans alternate their shots. It's that simple. Guy tees off, next guy hits the approach shot, next guy gets the chip or the putt, whatever. You get the idea. Through 14 holes, John Rahm and Sergio Garcia, they are 2 up on Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. That's through 14. Through 12, DJ, Dustin Johnson, and Colin Morikawa. We wondered about Morikawa. Where was he physically? Was he 100%? Kind of faded at the end of the year. 3 up on Victor Hovland and Paul Casey. That was just all square a few holes ago. So they have stepped on the gas. Brooks Koepka and Daniel Berger are now 2 up on Lee Westwood and Matthew Fitzpatrick through 12. And Patrick Cantlay, the PGA Tour Player of the Year, the FedEx Cup champion, and Xander Schauffele, my pick for having the best prediction for having the best American performance in the Ryder Cup. They are 4 up on Ian Poulter and Rory McIlroy through 10 holes. So again, the United States right now, they are ahead in 3 of the 4 matches. Of course, we'll keep you up to date with the Ryder Cup. The Grizzlies, they will open up camp, as I mentioned, next week. We will be there Monday for Media Day, and they made a couple of moves. They have cut Daniel Otero and Carson Edwards. So they are down to the 20, which I believe is the mandated number for camp. 20 players on the roster. You have to get down to 15, but you could also have the two-ways and the Exhibit 10 guys. Well, according to what I've read, Yves Pons from the University of Tennessee and Killian Tilly will be the two-way guys. So they'll spend time, obviously, in Memphis with the Grizzlies, and they'll also play a little bit with the Hustle. And then I saw this posted by a few people, and I couldn't confirm it, but I saw where Shaq Buchanan and Sean McDermott have Exhibit 10 deals. And McDermott was on the roster last year. So that one, again, I'm not 100% sure, but I've seen that. We'll talk to Drew Hill about it when he joins us. I've seen that out there. So that's 4 guys right there. So you minus them, you got 16 guys for 15 spots. And most believe it comes down to 1 spot. Sam Merrill versus Chris Dunn. Sam Merrill versus Chris Dunn. But again, we'll talk to Drew about that as the Grizzlies get ready to open up camp. Zach Boyd, are you ready for the NBA?
Oh, yeah.
It just seems to – I know everything was screwed up because of COVID as far as scheduling and this and that. But, my gosh, it just seems like the season ended.
It's one of the most anticipated seasons for me.
Why?
As far as you're pretty much bringing back the same core of teams, but then you're adding, looking at Chicago, they added a lot. New Orleans made a few changes, but you're pretty much from the contender standpoint, you're pretty much bringing back the same core of for the most part, the same core, and you're just running it back to see if this same core is going to bring a championship for either for the Suns or for the Milwaukee Bucks, or you're going to have a different championship, a different team winning the championship.
Yeah,
this year.
you're running it back for the most part, but what you are also going to see, barring more injuries, is a healthy Nets team, right? They were besieged by injuries. So, yes, they're running it back, but you're running it back now with hopefully guys that stay on the court. And then didn't Anthony Davis have some issues late in the season with the Lakers? They just did not seem like the team that won the championship the year before.
Yeah. Injuries killed the Lakers. It killed the Lakers season. They were not together going into the playoffs.
Right, and we can't sit here and say, well, they're going to be healthy for the entire year. But if they are healthy for the entire year, the Nets are a huge factor. The Lakers are a huge factor. It's the same teams that we expect, and that's where your statement is correct, that you're going to have a lot of teams run it back, especially the Milwaukee Bucks coming off the NBA title. All right, couple of other things before we take our first time out. Carolina last night beat Houston. Thursday Night Football, just a boring game. The Panthers are 3-0. It does appear that Sam Darnold, with this change of venue, has a new lease on life. Threw for 300, rushed for 2 touchdowns. They're 3-0. What else can you ask? 24-9, and they lost Christian McCaffrey. And, of course, I had 3 parlay bets, which included Christian McCaffrey. He gets injured, hamstring injured. I'm starting to think now Christian McCaffrey is becoming brittle because that guy has had so many totes through his first few years in the NFL. I think he is wearing down, and he's hurt. Not sure how bad the injury is, but it is a hammy. He was lost for the game in the second quarter. And then rookie J.C. Horn breaks his foot. So, yeah, they won the game, Carolina, but there was some attrition as well in winning that game. The Texans had to start a rookie in Davis Mills. With Tyrod Taylor out, the whole situation with Deshaun Watson is just a situation. He's not going to play in Houston. Will he play somewhere else? Will the NFL allow that? It doesn't appear they will, even though they haven't stepped up and said anything. But that's where we are with Houston, Carolina, 24-9 winners.
I need to see more from the Panthers, personally, because your first 3 games are the Jets, the Saints, and the Texans.
Right. That's fair.
Like, granted, this is the National Football League, so you got to play the teams that are in front of you week to week. But it's just the fact that you're 3-0 against right now some of the bad teams in the NFL as of right now with the Saints. Saints is still a question mark.
Yeah, but the good news is that they didn't screw up against teams that they should beat, right? Sometimes teams fall against a team that they are better than. At least Carolina has gotten to that point where they've taken care of bad teams. But you're right. I think the jury is absolutely still out on them. From the college football world, USC has lost freshman quarterback Jackson Dart. He made his first appearance last week after Slovis got hurt. Was really, really good. He has a torn meniscus. This happened against Washington State. He underwent minor surgery, is how they describe it, and he's out an extended period of time. So when it rains, it pours for USC. And from Major League Baseball, which we'll talk about in depth in our next segment, the Cardinals beat the Brewers. They come from behind to win that game. 12 straight wins. The Cardinals' longest winning streak since 1982. It is absolutely amazing what the Cardinals are doing. All right, when we return, Dave Sampson from the Nothing Personal podcast, former Marlins president, he will join us. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Sports Time with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallo said hello.
Are you ready to trade up to a Kia sales event and get our best deal of the year? Well, we gossip and gossip Kia on Covington Pike. So get ready and take your pick from 2022 Kia Soul, 2021 Kia Forte, and 2021 Kia Rio. We got them all at just $248 a month. Yeah, you heard me right, Mid-South. Soul, Forte, Rio, 3 is your charm, and take your pick. Just $248 a month. Plus, with every new gossip Kia, you'll find peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So trade up and get top dollar at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
72 months at 2.9 APR, $29.99 down. Sold in 716, 1784. MSRP 20,500. Forte ME 402,825. MSRP 20,055. Rio ME 427,894. MSRP 19,755. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Hey everybody, it's Rick Earwood, and you know in my day I've bought several homes, and nothing can be more overwhelming and time-consuming than trying to secure financing. Let me steer you in the direction of Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage, a guy that's been originating loans for 25 years in the greater Memphis area. Tommy does all products, conventional, FHA, USDA, VA. Maybe you're wanting to stay in your home now and just refinance. He can do that as well. So hey, go ahead, give Tommy a call at 901-335-7308. Get your pre-approval so you'll know what you can spend, find your home, and then pack your boxes and get ready to move. It's that easy with Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage. Call him today at 901-335-7308. Once again, that number, 901-335-7308. Tell him Rick told you to call.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5 Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5 Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5 Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5 Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5 Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
One quick thing before we bring on our guest Dave Sampson. We were talking a little bit earlier about Carolina's win over Houston last night. The one bit of good news for Houston, at least as far as local football fans are concerned, Anthony Miller with his new team. The former Bears wide receiver, the former Memphis standout, he had a touchdown catch in the 24-9 defeat of Carolina, or defeat of Houston, I should say. And we will be giving away some Tigers football tickets for tomorrow's game against Texas San Antonio, UTSA, in just a few minutes. But right now, without further ado, love having Dave come on the show. His podcast is out of this world. It's the Nothing Personal podcast, where they talk about everything and anything. But his expertise is baseball. He's the former president of the Marlins. He is Dave Sampson. You can follow him on Twitter at David P. Sampson. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Dave, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
We're doing good. You know, it was rough, a rough day yesterday for Memphis. It finally came into our backyard. We had a mass shooting. You probably heard in the news, and we're reeling a little bit from that. I mean, it seems like it's every community but yours, and then when it happens in your backyard, you don't know how to react to it.
It's an absolute nightmare. It's something I think about all the time and try to understand what we can do better and what can be changed, whether it's gun laws, whether it's mental health, and how to find people before they snap. And it's just scary because you've got family, you've got loved ones and friends, and you can't stop living your life. But sometimes you just wonder when it's going to happen, and then it comes to your backyard, and you don't have to wonder anymore.
Well, baseball-wise, we are in the backyard of the St. Louis Cardinals. As you probably know, Memphis, a hotbed for Cardinals fans. And, of course, the Redbirds, the AAA affiliate. And I don't know what has been going on over the last 2 months with this Cardinals team. 12 straight wins, longest winning streak in 39 years. How did they turn it around? What is going on, in your opinion?
Well, they've always had the talent, and they're an organization that it's a winning organization. They've got a great system that they have. They call it the St. Louis way, the Cardinals way. They've got great leadership in the front office. They've got great leadership in the dugout. And I got to watch the Cardinals up close because we shared spring training with them for 17 of my 18 years in baseball. I shared a facility with the Cardinals. So I got to watch how they operated, both good and bad. And what I've noticed about this year is when you start winning games and you start feeling confident in that wild card race where you're sort of chasing and you feel like you're just one moment away from getting hot, and then you can stay hot, and then you can win. It's what I would say to our team every year. Let's just find that one streak. If you can find it, then you'll be the team, and you could be the last team standing. And what I would worry about if I were the Giants or the Dodgers or any other team in the National League is that the teams that are the hottest and need to win the most at the end of the year are the ones that very often do better in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wonder about their rotation. I do wonder about 7-game series because I look at the Dodgers and say they've probably got the best team, but the Cardinals certainly are no walkover. It's going to be a fascinating October.
And you're going to have a one-game wild card playoff, and anything can happen in a one-game playoff, so it's either going to be the Dodgers or the Giants, as good as both those teams have been in that wild card game.
So if I'm running the Cardinals, I'm actually rooting for the Dodgers to win the division because I still have to believe that the Giants, while we all did not pick them to make the playoffs, forget win 100 games, we didn't pick them to make the playoffs. Now they were hot the first few months, and you say, all right, they're going to fade. It's a long season. Then the All-Star break comes. All right, here comes the fade. And the fade never came. There's still a better chance that the fade could come that particular day, the first week of October. And I don't know that I want to face Max Scherzer or Ferris Bueller or Clayton Kershaw, but it likely will be Bueller. And I say Ferris in a joke, obviously, but I think it'll be Bueller or Scherzer in a one game. But listen, you saw what happened to Scherzer last night. On any given day, you can win a baseball game, and that's what makes the one-game wild card so unbelievably exciting, but so awfully scary. And if you're the Giants or Dodgers and you lose that division and you realize that 2.5 hours on a random Wednesday, you could be out of the playoffs that quickly and you're facing the hottest team in baseball, there's going to be fear going into that game, even though the Cardinals will not be favored.
Boy, how many times do you think Walker hears Bueller? Bueller? I mean, probably every day of his life, for goodness sakes. Now, with the Giants, going back to the Giants, all right, we none of us, you're right, none of us predicted that. And I always thought with the Giants, even though they had the talent, they had the pitching to do what they've done over the last 15 years, but I thought it was Bochy. And this proves not necessarily he was a big part of it, but that it wasn't just the managerial stylings of Bruce Bochy.
Well, I've always said that managers can make a good team great. They can't make a bad team good.
Mm-hmm.
And they can make a good team bad, believe it or not, but they can't make a great team bad. And what's happened in San Francisco is what every executive dreams of every offseason, that every player will have a career year at the same time. And that's the dream, but it never happens. But in San Francisco, when you look at their lineup, when you look at their staff, they are having unbelievable years from everybody. And when that happens in Major League Baseball, you're going to win 100 games.
It is going to end up being another frustrating year for me as a Phillies fan, a longtime Phillies fan going back into the 60s. Close, but no cigar. Bryce Harper's had a great year offensively. They look good. They're sitting 2 behind the Braves. I guess there's still a possibility. But that relief corps, the middle relievers for the Phillies, have done them in, and they have done them in for the last couple of years. And that was something that wasn't addressed and wasn't addressed at the trade deadline. Is that how you see the Phillies? That's their weakness?
Well, I think that the Phillies would the Phillies would actually tell you that they did address their bullpen. They tried to address their bullpen in the offseason. They thought they had. But when you're putting your team together in the offseason, every year I tried to address the bullpen because that's what you want to improve on, because you tend to have recency bias and remember all the blown saves, and they hurt way more than the saves, and the losses hurt way more than the victories. And you can't fix a bullpen during the offseason, hard as you may try. The best time to fix it is at the deadline by trying to acquire a hot reliever or two and hope that they stay hot. And that worked for us sometimes. It didn't work for us other times. But the Phillies are a team that, they don't give up games, and that's really Joe Girardi and his managerial style. They're in every game, even when they're down 6 runs. They've had amazing comebacks this year, historic comebacks, time and time again. But when I look at them, they don't scare me at all if I'm facing them in a 5 or 7 game series. I don't know that they'll catch Atlanta, but remember, Atlanta's without Acuna, without Ozuna, and yet they find ways to win with the leadership of Freeman and that amazing infield that they have. And they're without their best pitcher, the Achilles guy, Soroka. So somehow they're doing it, but only up 2 with 9 or 10 to play. The Phillies have a chance, but I don't think any team in the National League is worried about them.
Former Marlins president and host of the Nothing Personal podcast, David Sampson, joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at David P. Sampson. One of the disasters this season in baseball has to be the Padres. We all penciled them into the postseason. You had a little infight between Tatis Jr. and Machado the other day. What happened to them?
So you guys all believe the hype. On Nothing Personal, I had an early wait to see, which is a segment I do where I say something's going to happen, and then I revisit it if it happens or if it doesn't. But either way, I'm accountable. Mm-hmm. And I had the Padres not having a good year.
Really?
Because it's all A.J. Preller, and what he does it all the time. He signs all these guys. He trades for Snell, trades for Darvish, expects them to be amazing, and then all of a sudden the team just isn't good enough. And he'll sign guys to $300 million and spend money and go out there and say that he's the greatest GM ever, yet the team never performs. And they may have a great group of individual players, but for the Padres, the sum has always been smaller than the parts. And that happened to me when we had Yelich, Stanton, and Ozuna, and our sum was always less than our parts. And when that happens, you're not going to make the playoffs. You're not even going to win 81 games. And the Padres just don't have it. And I guess the one cardinal rule I would say in baseball, don't make a trade with the Tampa Bay Rays because you're going to lose the trade. And when you bring in Blake Snell and you expect him to be your ace, and the Rays are so happy to move him, you know that you're on the wrong end of that, and that's what's happened.
And you know you're desperate when you're trying to wring out a little bit what's left of Jake Arrieta at the end of his career there.
Oh, God.
And that didn't work out. So you mentioned Tampa Bay. Who are the top in your opinion right now in baseball? Top 3 GMs.
David Stearns of Milwaukee is probably right at the top. I'm a fan of Mark Shapiro and what he does in Toronto. I think he's great. I'm a fan of Chaim Bloom in Boston and what he does. And one of the things they have in common is they don't panic, and they're not emotional, and they make moves not because the fan base knows the name of the player. They make moves because they believe that their sum will be greater than their part, and that is the key, as we talked about earlier in this show. And so if I had to choose one, I would probably go with David Stearns in Milwaukee.
What do you think about John Mozeliak with the Cardinals?
He is an interesting one. He's not short of self-confidence. He's good at what he does. I think that I would say that in his mind, the one negative, and I share this, and I probably have the same personality fault, that it's going to take a lot for you to convince me that I'm wrong, and I'm going to die on the hill that I probably shouldn't die on. But on the other hand, he has the strength to make aggressive moves when they're required, like, say, getting Paul Goldschmidt was a great, great move for him. But I respect what he does, and I certainly respect the team that he has, and that fan base was always the fan base that I was most jealous of. Not the Cubs, not the Red Sox, not the Yankees. The Cardinals fan base is the fan base that I always dreamt of.
Dave, are the Yankees going to sneak into the postseason? And if they don't, will Aaron Boone pay the price?
I think if they don't, and I made the call that the Yankees will not make the playoffs, and I think that both Boone and Cashman will be gone. The Yankees have not been in the World Series since 2009. They have underperformed, and it's not for lack of payroll. They've got a great lineup that can't score runs, which means it's not a great lineup. They tried, Brian Cashman did, with Corey Kluber and Talon and a bunch of retreads to go behind Cole, and it wasn't good enough, and it was never going to be good enough. And the fact of the matter is they're just not good enough. And I think at some point changes have to be made, and I think that Steinbrenner, Hal, is going to do his best George imitation, and as much as he doesn't like doing it, he's going to have to make the changes at the top.
On Dave's podcast, Nothing Personal, he talks about everything and anything. So I want to hit you up with two other topics before we let you go from the world of the National Football League. So far, there have been 11 taunting penalties called in the first couple of weeks of the season. The NFL came out yesterday and said they feel good about 9 of the calls. How do you look at taunting and what the NFL is emphasizing this year with the taunting penalty?
So I'm the guy with the Marlins who put things in the urinals in the restrooms at our ballpark with the logos of other National League East teams. I'm the guy who had on the Jumbotron, we would do things during a game when we were playing a team that I thought was funny, but was clearly taunting. And I never made the mistake of thinking that we were curing cancer or we were solving world hunger or trying to get world peace. We're in the sports business. We're in the entertainment business. We're in the memory-making business. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a mistake to say to your players that we are going to shut down your personality. And taunting is really a synonym for personality and for glee when you've done something good. And players are okay with it. They're okay with being, quote-unquote, shown up because they like showing up other players when they do something good. And I think the NFL has taken a bridge too far right now. And I think it may have something to do with their sponsors who don't want to be associated with that sort of behavior. And so the NFL has to answer to them. But I think it's a mistake. And I think that you don't want to be known as the No Fun League. You want to be known as the National Football League.
Completely agree with that one. And then I'll go to college. With the targeting, obviously it's in football, period. But in college football, the targeting rule, I understand the premise. I understand why it's there. Safety first. But there is becoming an epidemic of plays where a defensive player has no choice. There's nothing else they can do, especially when they're going in low for a tackle. The running back lowers his helmet. We saw that in the Memphis game this past week against Mississippi State. The defensive player is ejected, and you have offensive players who can not only lower their helmet, hit with the crown of their helmet, they could also grab face masks as far as stiff arms are concerned. You can't pull it, but you can put it into the face mask. Everything's the advantage of the offense, nothing to the defense. Have we gone too far with targeting?
Nah, I have one word for you. It's called liability. Mm-hmm. I think that really what the college programs are saying and what the NCAA is saying, to the extent that that's still an actually functioning organization, which I'm not sure it is that we just don't want injuries to what they call student athletes, but we'll just call them athletes, and they need to protect them. So I actually agree with targeting and having to eliminate it, because football by definition is so dangerous that anything you can do to try to increase the scale of health, you've got to do. And again, that doesn't take away the fun of the game. And I understand that fans love the violence of it. It's like gladiators, right? We love to watch people fight. We love watching fights in the National Hockey League. We love watching hard hits. There's shows about hard hits. There's a show called Hard Knocks. Like, it's all about the violence. But when these are kids, in theory, not being paid, which of course is not true, you got to protect them. So I'm okay with that.
He is former Marlins president David Sampson. You can follow him on Twitter at David P. Sampson, and the podcast is absolutely out of this world. You got to check it out. It's the Nothing Personal Podcast with your host, David Sampson. David, as always, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it. We'll talk down the road.
I look forward to it. Speak to you in October, I hope. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. Check them out online at newroofmemphis.com. They offer financing, many different plans and options to suit your budget. They'll make it work, whether it's a 6, 12, 18-month, same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofs. So business owners, property managers, along with homeowners, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. Don't forget about the $100 referral fee for all new roofs. So you tell somebody about Pinnacle, you know a friend needs a new roof, they end up using Pinnacle. For that reference, you'll get $100 for that referral. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration does carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, install shingles, put up fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you can do yourself, more power to you. If not, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Quality work at a very reasonable price. They're locally owned and operated. Brandon started this company from scratch. He's a Bolton High School graduate. Keep the money, if you can, ladies and gentlemen, in the local economy with local companies. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. For all your roofing and home repair needs, call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084, 901-438-5084, or go online, check them out at newroofmemphis.com. When we come back, we're going to give away some tickets for tomorrow's Tigers-UTSA game. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
Hi, I'm Tito Beveridge, founder and master distiller at Tito's Handmade Vodka. In 1997, I started the first micro distillery in the state of Texas with my dog, Dog Joe, at my side. We're still working with dogs out at the distillery after all these years. Learn more about how dogs are a part of life here at Tito's Handmade Vodka at vodkafordogpeople.com. Tito's Handmade Vodka is made from corn and naturally gluten-free. Cheers. 80 proof Tito's Handmade Vodka, distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. Tito'sVodka.com.
Taqueria Express has a new location at 6290 Winchester with family deals every day. Mouth-watering chicken tacos, only 99 cents. 3 tacos with rice, beans, and fresh guacamole, only $6. And incredible signature dishes with chicken or beef chimichangas and homemade tortillas stuffed with fresh beans, rice, and cheese on top. If you're hungry, try Taqueria Express's gigantic Macho Burrito. Homemade with fresh flour tortilla, and you choose beef, chicken, pork, or shrimp. Includes beans, rice, melted cheese, lettuce, tomato, and sour cream. Fajita fans, try Taqueria's delicious chicken or steak fajitas. Big enough for 2 people and only $10. If you're thirsty and want something unique, then try Taqueria drinks made from scratch, like melon and pineapple. Margaritas are buy one, get one free, and they got a little kick to them. For real Mexican food, Taqueria Express, 6290 Winchester. We'll see you guys there, and don't forget the strong margaritas. Buy one, get one free.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy, and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
Like a coin in your mint, I am tempted.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Take me to the pilot for control. Take me to the pilot of your soul.
A reminder that you can be a part of the show by texting in comments, questions, concerns on anything we've talked about, other things we haven't talked about in the world of sports. And even if you want to comment on yesterday's horrific tragedy in Collierville, you certainly can on the AutoZone text line, 360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone, the AutoZone text line at 360-8255. All right, so the Tigers are gearing up for their battle with UTSA tomorrow. 2 undefeated teams. The weather looks to be absolutely terrific. I was sent this text a few minutes ago. This is pretty amazing. Memphis is the only FBS team with 2 players in the top 5 of rushing yards per game and receiving yards per game. Brandon Thomas, number 2 rusher at 140 yards per game. Calvin Austin III is number 5 in receiving yards per game at 130. Memphis is also one of only 2 FBS teams with players in the top 25 of passing, rushing, and receiving. Seth Hennigan, number 21 at 280 per game. The only other team, the University of North Carolina. If you don't have your tickets yet, but you want to go to the game tomorrow and you want to go for free, be caller number 5 right now. We got a pair of tickets for you to go see the Tigers and the Roadrunners. Caller number 5 at 360-8255. We're going to give away 2 other pairs of tickets later on in the show. And then I believe Gabe Kuhn will have 2 pairs to give away as well, 2 pair. So we will take caller number 5 right now, 360-8255. Like I said, the weather looks to be spectacular. The Tigers coming off the big win over Mississippi State, and they will get a challenge from this Roadrunners team. This is a good team. We previewed it yesterday. We had Coach Traylor on from UTSA, and he was so complimentary about what the Memphis Tigers are doing. But certainly, this will be a big challenge for the Tigers. So caller number 5, do we have caller number 5? We do. Yeah, we have caller number 5, but we're going to give away 2 more pair of tickets later on in the show. And again, Gabe, who's in for John Harden at 1 o'clock for Sports 56 Happy Hour, he will give away 2 pair as well. We do have caller number 5. So last night in college football, really good game between Marshall and App State. 2 solid teams. App State hangs on, wins 31-30. Actually, they rallied to win, but they win it by a point, 31-30. They did not cover the spread. Good showing by the Thundering Herd in Boone, North Carolina. Tonight, there are 5 games on tap. You have Middle Tennessee State and Charlotte. This is the one I really love. Charlotte is a 2.5-point favorite or a 3-point favorite, depending on which book you're looking at. Virginia and Wake Forest play tonight as well. Virginia is a 3.5-point favorite. Wake drilled Florida State last week. They're undefeated. And Virginia lost by 20 to North Carolina. But Virginia back home in Charlottesville, a 3.5-point favorite. The Fighting Hugh Freezes of Liberty, 6.5-point favorite at Syracuse in the Dome. Dino Babers' team. And then the Runnin' Rebs of UNLV, 30.5 points. They are an underdog at Fresno State. That's a good, solid Fresno State team. Their only loss, a close loss to Oregon. Also, there's an Ivy League game, if you care, tonight. That's Brown and Harvard. Then tomorrow, a stacked lineup of games. The Tigers, as I mentioned, with UTSA. That opened up as Memphis, a 5-point favorite. And it quickly dropped down to 3. And now it looks to be hovering around 3.5. Tigers still a favorite over UTSA, but it opened as the Tigers with a 5 points as a favorite from our friends in the desert. Florida and Tennessee opened Florida minus 17. It has gone to 18.5 or 19, depending on the book you're looking at. The Gators a heavy favorite over the Vols in the Swamp. Arkansas State, by the way, got blown out at Washington. Did not expect that to happen. They're 14 points or 14.5. Again, depending on your book, 14.5 points you can get with Arkansas State at Tulsa. Tulsa hasn't won yet. That seems like a lot of points, but it was a very disappointing performance by Butch Jones's team at Washington. Texas A&M and Arkansas, they will be playing at Jerry's World. The line opened. Texas A&M is a 5-point favorite. That line has fluctuated between 4.5 and 5.5 as the Aggies are the favorite and maintain that favorite position over Arkansas. That seems to be a very tough game to call, but Arkansas right now sky high with the way they've been playing. Mississippi State looking to bounce back from the loss to Memphis. They're at home. They're in Starkville. They're playing LSU. LSU started as a 4-point favorite. They opened as a 4. They're down to 2.5. But LSU is still a road favorite. So Mississippi State, that home dog action, if you want to take State over LSU. A couple of other games of interest. Alabama going non-conference, 45.5-point favorite over Southern Miss. Of course, Alabama coming off a 2-point win last week, hanging on to beat the Gators in the Swamp. USF stepping out of the American Conference. They'll play BYU. BYU, who has 3 wins already over Pac-12 opponents, 23-point favorite in Provo. You also have from the SEC, South Carolina. They will be taking on Kentucky. Kentucky is a 4.5-point favorite over South Carolina. Started out as 6. I mean, this seems like it's easy that Kentucky will roll South Carolina. Not that good in Shane Beamer's first year. Scary game, though, in my opinion. A scary game. All right, once again, we got 2 more pair of tickets to give away for the Tigers and UTSA. We'll do that later on in the show. Also later in the show, we'll talk Grizzlies with Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. Our good friend Randy Fietner will join us to talk NFL. But when we return, it's all about the prep football. If you have any games you would want John Varlas to take a look at, to analyze, go ahead and hit us up on the AutoZone text line, 360-8255, 360-8255. John is next, 1 hour in the books. This is Middays on this Friday, September 24th, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
Oh, according to research, 82% of people remember radio ads. That means that 82% of you listening right now will remember that this is an ad for ZipRecruiter. If you're hiring, 82% of you will recall that ZipRecruiter makes hiring faster and easier. And 82% of you will note that you can try ZipRecruiter for free today. But you have to go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Yes, free. 82% of you will keep in mind that ZipRecruiter's technology finds qualified people for your job and actively invites them to apply.
Scott, is that you? Who are you talking to?
82% of you will also know that I, live with my mom. But the most important thing to note is that ZipRecruiter works. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Will you be part of the 82% who remember where you can try ZipRecruiter for free? It's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Again, that exclusive link is ZipRecruiter.com/free. How much? Free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm here with the great Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Restaurant Shipping Department.
Thanks, Brett. We've been shipping our ribs all over the country now for decades from our USDA-inspected shipping kitchen in the Pinch District. We hand-cook our ribs in pits that Mr. Charlie built over charcoal, just like they do at the restaurant.
So what comes in a rib box?
We could do pork shoulder, we could do ribs, our sauce, seasoning, baked beans, coleslaw. We'll even throw in Pancho's cheese dip with our nacho boxes. We also put a bag of Rendezvous seasoned popcorn, heating instructions, some chef hats, some wet naps, and some other helpful tips from our kitchen. We ship our ribs overnight, exclusively FedEx. And we put them in nice packaging. We don't ever want to use styrofoam, so we use corrugated cardboard, actually 2 boxes that fit nice together. So the ribs get to you, your loved ones, or your clients in a safe, wholesome manner. Rendezvous ribs are perfect for out-of-town clients, customers, loved ones. We also ship ribs for any occasion.
Where do we order these great ribs?
You can go to www.hogsfly.com or give us a call at 1-888-464-7359.
Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous Restaurant in the alley since 1948.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear that 3's a charm at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah, so I'm ready to trade up to a Kia sales event with you, my man.
That's right, Randy. 3 rides, all just $248 a month. Take your pick from a 2022 Kia Soul LX, 2021 Kia Forte LXS, or a 2021 Kia Rio LXS. Your choice, $248 a month.
And Soul, longer, better warranty than Honda or Nissan. Forte, more passenger volume and thousands less than Honda Civic. And Rio, higher MPG and thousands less than Corolla. Plus, you'll get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9 APR, $29.99 down. Sold in 716,174, MSRP $20,500. Forte ME 402,825, MSRP $20,055. Rio ME 427,894, MSRP $19,755. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I love this song, especially when we're in the darn month of September. It doesn't sound as good when we're in October or another month, but it is a beautiful day. We're getting you set for the sports weekend. Greg Gaston and Zach Boyd. Eli off today. He'll return on Monday. And again, Monday will be at FedEx Forum for Grizzlies Media Day. Believe it or not, the NBA season is right around the corner. But right now, it's time to talk some high school football with John Varlas.
It's time to talk some high school sports on Sports 56 Middays. Joining Greg and Eli is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. Check out John's prep coverage at dailymemphian.com. Now, here's John with Greg and Eli.
There must be some kind of way out of here.
He is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian, prep reporter, and so much more. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. If you have a game you want John to talk about, hit us up on the AutoZone text line at 360-8255. Zach will let us know what game that you want JV to talk about. He'll break it down every which way but loose. So go ahead and do that, 360-8255, as I welcome in John. How are you?
I'm good, Greg. Completed week 12 of training today with Coach Shabazz over at Shabazz Fitness. So I am sore but feeling extremely proud of myself and gratified.
You should be.
And ready to rock and roll, man.
You are a lean, mean fighting machine.
You know, I never really appreciated the value of getting up early in the morning and then like working out before your day.
Mm-hmm.
But it's I mean, if you can do it, it's a good thing to do because it kind of puts your day in a good frame of mind. It gives you a good sense of accomplishment, you know, once you get done, and hopefully that carries through for the rest of your day. So I'm kind of liking it, and Coach is just incredible. So much motivation and love and support over there. So we're getting it done, man.
Well, those who are watching us, and if you did not know, you can watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, on the website, sports56whbq.com. You can see John right there. Wave to him, John.
Hey.
You're going to have to teach me about this morning thing because, as you know, we're going to mornings starting on October 4th, and there is no way. I would have to get up at probably 3:30 to do a workout before I even came to work. I will do the workout after work. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I like nights.
Yeah.
Late nights. I stay up. I watch games. I get my thoughts together for the next day's show. And it's just going to be hard to fall asleep or try to fall asleep at 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. And that, if I went to sleep at 11 o'clock and fell right to sleep, I'm up at 5. That's only 6 hours of sleep. I need my sleep. I need my 8 hours, John.
Well, you think that, but you really don't. Number one, you can. When I say you, I'm talking about me specifically because I'm the most important person. But
well, of course.
But no, you can function very well, I think, on 6 hours sleep. I do quite often. I mean, I get really tired. I take naps. I mean, you'll make it work. And here's the thing. I mean, I was like the most night person you can imagine. I worked on the copy desk for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, there was many a night I would go to sleep, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's routine for me. And, that was routine for me and get up at, noon, 1 o'clock. But I've changed that. I like I said, I get up, I'm at the gym at 8 o'clock every morning. If I have to take a nap when I get home to, kind of recharge for a couple of hours, I do that. But you'll get used to it. I mean, I know you can. It's hard. I know that adjusting schedules is hard. It's a big jolt when you've been doing something for so long, but you can do it, man.
All right, so let's talk about a game from last week before we dive into tonight's action. And that was and this is what Eli would be asking you if he was here, the unbelievable double overtime game between Christian Brothers and Briarcrest.
Yeah, that was just a simply unbelievable game. I mean, as a reporter, you don't really care who wins. You don't have favorites, but honestly, watching that fourth quarter unfold, I was feeling kind of bad for Briarcrest because they had played so well. They were ahead 28-14 midway through the fourth quarter. And then all of a sudden, Christian Brothers kind of rises from the dead and scores 2 late touchdowns and sends it to overtime. And then, all the momentum is with Christian Brothers. The game is at Christian Brothers. Everybody's going nuts. So, I mean, you kind of felt bad for Briarcrest at that point. And they get to overtime and they find a way to pull it out. You get to the second overtime. Christian Brothers scores first on a pass to Jackson Hammond, who, put him on your radar as a side note. Really good young player. So they go ahead 42-35, kick the extra point. Briarcrest scores to, it's 42-41 at that point. No hesitation to go for the 2-point conversion, the coaches said. And they do this pass, and I'm sure everybody listening has probably seen this play at some point because Christian Brothers ran it in week 1 against Germantown to win. Briarcrest ran it to win last week. ECS ran the same.
Is it the Philly special?
To beat Olive Branch. No, I don't know what the name of it is, but you get your quarterback. He runs to the right, sucks all the containment over there to the right. Then he turns
throws
and
back to the left.
Throws back across the field, and the guy's wide open. It's worked every time I've seen it. It worked well for Briarcrest. J.D. Sherrod hits Max Carroll for the 2-point conversion. Alcoa ran the same play last night in East Tennessee. They're in overtime. They run the exact same play.
It's over pursuit. That's right, what it is.
And the quarterback goes to the right, draws the containment, then throws back across the field. It's a great play, and I've seen it 4 times this year now. It's worked every single time to either get a victory or in regulation or in overtime. So, yeah, it's a great play. Briarcrest is 5-0. They're traveling to Harding, Arkansas this week for a game against Harding Arkansas Academy, which I don't know anything about. Hopefully Briarcrest can come back 6-0. But, yeah, they're a really good team, Briarcrest.
So the records would show you and tell you that they are the best between MUS and Christian Brothers, correct? But where do you compare Briarcrest to schools from outside of Memphis when they have not played Ensworth, who destroyed MUS, beat Christian Brothers up? How do you tell? Yeah. How do you know how good Briarcrest really is?
We'll find out. I mean, because they will play Ensworth, and I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. I mean, I'm scared, of Briarcrest going against Ensworth, not because of anything that Briarcrest may or may not have, but because Ensworth just looks so darn good. I mean, you said it. They beat Christian Brothers, 42-19. They beat MUS last week, 40-7. And Eli's talked about it. I mean, they just have some really, really good, talented ball players over there. So, to me, just from what I've seen, I've not seen Ensworth in person, but they look like the class of that division. I think, Briarcrest still has to play MUS, obviously, but I think if we're ranking those teams right now, I think you would say Ensworth, then Briarcrest, and then, it's a kind of a up for grabs for there. So, yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot on the line when those two teams play later in the season. But, this Ensworth team just looks really, really tough and hard to beat as far as I'm concerned.
All right, tonight's schedule, some very intriguing games. I bring this one up because I have a question for you about Tevin Carter. Pure is going to play Christian Brothers High School. I don't think they'll give them much of a game. Maybe they will. You know this better than I do. But Tevin Carter's the quarterback for Pure. He's committed to the University of Memphis. Then I heard the other day, I think it was Gabe Kuhn who said that he is going to visit Georgia Tech. I don't know if that's common once you've committed. Now, nothing's legally binding. It's just a verbal commitment. Once you commit, that you still follow through and go on other recruiting visits. Or is Tevin Carter looking at what's happening at the University of Memphis with Seth Hennigan? In other words, has he had a change of heart, or is he just going to follow through and enjoy these visits to other schools?
Yeah, I mean, and without talking to him, I don't want to speculate whether he's had a change of heart or not, but I don't think it's terribly uncommon to, continue your visits. A lot of these kids like to be recruited. They like to be, kind of wined and dined, and like we saw with Imani Bates, they like to go to the hotel room and have the Pringles and the snacks waiting for them. And kids are kids. They like attention, and honestly, I think if I was in that situation, I would probably follow through and take my visits as well, and just see what's out there. I mean, I think that's a smart thing to do. I mean, I don't have any reason to not believe Tevin Carter's still not 100% a Tiger. I know he was tweeting after the last victory, and he seemed really excited about the team, and seems excited about the potential of playing in that offense. And as a quarterback, I mean, who wouldn't like to play in that offense? But you make an excellent point with Hennigan. I mean, he's a freshman. He's apparently he's not going anywhere, and he's he looks like the real deal through 3 games. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I know Georgia Tech was heavily involved in Carter, and honestly, when he committed to Memphis, I was kind of surprised because Georgia Tech was involved so heavily. So we'll see how it goes. But I would not read anything, particularly negative or troubling in the fact that he's going to take a visit to Georgia Tech.
Who, in your opinion, are the top 3 quarterbacks right now in high school football in the area?
Oh God, I hate to rank people because I get in trouble and I don't want.
No particular order. Give me 3 or 4 that you think are the top quarterbacks.
Tevin Carter's good.
Mm-hmm.
The kid from Briarcrest I saw last week, Sherrod. He transferred in from Florida. He's just a junior. Really, really good quarterback. I was really impressed with him. And then talking to him after the game, I was even more impressed with him because he just seemed really mature, poised. I mean, Greg, after a game, it's hard to get good stuff because, everybody's energized and, adrenalized and, it's hard to get good stuff after a game. But yeah, but JD was just sharp and poised and, made a lot of sense, and so I was really impressed with him. So Sherrod's a good quarterback. Obviously, Brock Glenn at Lausanne is an excellent quarterback. I definitely feel like I'm forgetting some people, but, those are 3 off the top of my head that I really, really like.
All right, Collierville and Whitehaven, and I opened the show today talking about the tragedy, the horrific happenings of yesterday and the mass shooting in Collierville. But Collierville, like you were telling me, they played last night volleyball. Obviously, the shooting didn't happen, thank God, on campus. They played volleyball last night, so obviously the football game is going to be played tonight. But Collierville and Whitehaven, that is a clash of titans.
Well, and here, and that I am really, really fired up for this game. I think it's going to be terribly, terribly interesting. On the one hand, you've got Collierville, who is 5-0. They've played excellent football. One of the area's best defenses. I think they're number 2 this week statistically behind Maz. A really good quarterback in Houston Wilhelm, who's come on here lately and played some good games the last couple of weeks. Good solid running game with Troy Martin. The only negative, you look at Collierville, you look at their schedule. They're 5-0, but the combined record, Greg, of the teams that they've beaten is only 5-18.
Mm-hmm.
So they haven't really played a great schedule. And here you got a Whitehaven team. Whitehaven's going to come in there at some point in the third quarter. They're going to lean on them. They're going to be physical. And Collierville's going to have to answer that bell. Whitehaven's going to take them into the deep water. It's going to be a tough physical contest. And at some point in that third quarter, early in the fourth quarter, Collierville's going to say to themselves, hey, we're in a ball game. This is not like the other ball games we play where we got a running clock in the fourth quarter. We got all the subs. We're on the sidelines cutting up, laughing, having a good time. Whitehaven's going to come in there. They're going to be physical, tough, like they always are. Their offensive line is gigantic. I mean, everybody knows what Whitehaven's going to bring to the table. They're going to be, they're just going to get in there in Collierville and get after it. And it's going to be interesting to see how Collierville responds to that challenge. I think they can. I think they have a very good team. I think their strength defensively will hurt Whitehaven because I think Whitehaven is not as good offensively as Collierville is defensively. So I think Collierville certainly has the advantage from that standpoint. But, just that mental aspect of it, the fact that Collierville hasn't really been in a game yet,
mm-hmm.
and they will be in a game today. So I'm really curious to see how it shakes out. Like I said, I think Collierville can do it. I've got a lot of confidence in them, but it's just going to be a whole nother level of competition tonight.
All right, I got a few more I got to ask you about, but Zach, we've had some folks that texted in on the AutoZone text line. Questions for John?
Yeah, so John wants to know about his Covington Chargers.
Well, of course he does. Covington, that's actually really one of the best games in the state this week. Covington and Dyersburg, both of those teams are 5-0. Both of those teams are ranked in the state in Class AAA. I don't know anything about Dyersburg, honestly, and like we've talked, all week, all season with Covington, they're going to go out there, do what they do, run the ball, continue to play, great running football, continue to dominate the line of scrimmage. If I had to pick, I would pick Covington, but having said that, I don't really know anything about Dyersburg, but that should be, just based on the records, that should be an extremely good game.
And then you got another big game between Germantown and Houston.
Yeah.
I guess you could call it a battle of the Germantown.
Well, yeah.
The city of Germantown.
Yeah, there's a lot of civic pride in that one. Those are the only 2 schools in Germantown. Like we've talked about, you got to tip your hat to the job that Coach Robinson is doing with those guys over there in Germantown. They've just got, they're putting together a really nice season. In a lot of ways, they're like Whitehaven, a physical football team. They're going to try to establish the line of scrimmage. They're going to try to establish the run game. But I think what separates them from Whitehaven is they've got a good stable of playmakers. Guys like Cody Jones, who's committed to Michigan, obviously. Malik Young, the quarterback, who, it continues to puzzle me why, bigger schools aren't trying to recruit Malik. He's just so good and so talented. Marion Claybrooks, the running back Josh Davis. I mean, just so many good, talented players over there at Germantown. So well coached. I think they're going to give Houston. I mean, certainly Houston is going to give them all they can handle. But I don't know the health status of the Houston guys. I know they had some injury issues last week against Whitehaven, which kind of curtailed a little bit what they could do offensively. So I don't know the health status of everybody at Houston, but that's going to be a good game, huge rivalry, a lot of Germantown pride on the line. I think Germantown wins it and just keeps rolling along.
We're all the better for it when Germantown is good, and Gene has done an amazing job with that Red Devils team. When I got to Memphis in 1995 and you had Ken Netherland, they were always a power. It's good to see Germantown right where they belong. Here's a sneaky good game, at least on paper. Brighton and Moz.
Oh yeah, not even sneaky good game. That's just a good game. Period. You got the classic case of the unstoppable force and the immovable object, right? That Brighton. I mean that Moz defense, which is number one in the city. Just a really good, strong, hard-nosed defense, well coached against that that high-powered Brighton offense led by Nick Harville, the quarterback, and Braxton Sharp, who is one of our better running backs. That's going to be an interesting game. It's a non-region game, of course, so in terms of the playoffs and region, it doesn't matter who wins. But from watching Moz play twice this season already, I know those guys have a lot of confidence. I know I know this is going to be a big measuring stick for them to go up to Brighton and see how they can do against a school with a much larger enrollment. Like I've said, I'm super high on this Moz team. I think they're going to make a really deep playoff run in Class 2A. Cameron Miller, Jalen Dale, Charles Perkins, Demetrius Visor, the quarterback, just so many weapons on that team. And Coach Miller is, one of our best coaches out here too, just doing a great job, him and his staff over there. So I don't know how it's going to go, but I mean, I think it's going to be a really, really fun, interesting game and a complete clash of styles.
Neighborhood rivalry. Ridgeway, MUS are basically across the street from each other.
Yeah, it's like a long Greg Gaston drive, or like a
if it bounces in the street,
or like a drive and like a second shot right
there you
from
go.
From
approach shot
from
right.
the rough. Approach right. No, it's good to see that. It's good to see that game back on. Obviously, Ridgeway couldn't play last year. And I know there was a lot of frustration if you're over there at Ridgeway and you're saying, well, we can't play, but, guys a mile away are playing. So I know, there was a lot of frustration in regards to that. Certainly not MUS's fault in that situation. But, so, yeah, it's great to see that rivalry back. I know in the past Ridgeway has just walked over. They just grab their gear and walk over. So I think that's kind of cool. And Ridgeway's playing some good football, too. They started out with a couple of losses. They lost to Houston, and then they lost to Whitehaven. Two good teams, obviously, but since then they've picked it up. They've won 2 in a row. They've shut out both of their opponents, and it's going to be interesting to see how MUS responds and bounces back from that game against Innsworth last week, where they just really didn't play well. I think MUS does bounce back, and I think a good performance against Ridgeway tonight can kind of set the tone for the rest of their schedule, because they still have Briarcrest left. They still have CBH left, so they still have some meaningful games on the schedule, and I think they'll want to put up a good performance tonight against Ridgeway, and like I said, kind of set the tone for the second half of the season. Hard to believe we're already in the second half of the season.
Since you are the incredible shrinking man, do you have to turn down now offers when you go to a game that has great tailgating? They say, John, come on over here. We got ribs. We got this. We got that. What do you say?
God, you got that box of donuts out there in the lobby just sitting there.
Just to tempt you.
Begging for me. It's like, and they're all full and good and smelling. Oh, man. I'm not going to tell you I didn't look at them, but no, it's hard, man.
Willpower, baby.
And let me tell you what else is hard. It's hard listening to this doggone radio station, especially, the late afternoon show, because they got Den Stools and Belly Acres and all these sponsors and Taco Bell Crunch Time. It's driving me crazy listening to you guys, man.
John, I got one more text from you.
Yeah, Zach.
Real quick. From our AutoZone text line. Listener wants to know, are there any running backs the Tigers might be looking at as for the University of Memphis Tigers?
That's a good question. I haven't seen Memphis linked with any of the local running backs, so not officially. I know they just issued an offer a couple of days ago, in fact, to the Moz running back, Kumaro Brown, the talented sophomore running back at Moz, picked up an offer from Memphis, but he's a sophomore. I don't know if there's anybody in the senior class. It's certainly none of my business, but if you want to look at some good running backs, there's some out there. Craig Cunningham at Lausanne, certainly Jamarius Brooks at Central, who just picked up an offer from Morehead State. There's some good backs out there. If you want to look at them at a scholarship or maybe a PWO option, there's some good guys out there.
John, great stuff as always. The Daily Memphian Prep Reporter, but he does so much more. Covers Memphis 901 FC and other things as well. He is John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. Enjoy your night. It's going to be great weather.
I am ready to go, Greg. Thank you so much for having me as always, and we'll see you next week.
We'll talk to you next week. That's John Varlas. Every Monday and Friday, our second hour sponsor of the program, James Gaddis Jewelers, bring you the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know that the St. Louis Cardinals sweep of the Brewers pushed their winning streak to 12? That's their longest in 39 years. The Cards starting lineup yesterday featured 7 players who have played with the Redbirds at one point or another, with the only 2 not playing in Memphis, Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, between Mendenhall and St. Elmo, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners in that same East Memphis location for a quarter century. And they have beautiful diamond rings, beautiful engagement rings, beautiful wedding rings, but it's not just the diamonds. They have jewels of all sorts. They have tons of custom-made jewelry. They have fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, watches. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. Layaway and financing is available. It's James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. When we return, another member of the Daily Memphian crew, Drew Hill, will join us to talk Grizzlies. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
Sports 56 Mornings with Peter Edmiston and Anthony Zane comes your way every weekday morning from 7 till 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Are you ready to trade up to a Kia sales event and get our best deal of the year? Well, we got it Kia on Covington Pike. So get ready and take your pick from 2022 Kia Soul, 2021 Kia Forte, and 2021 Kia Rio. We got them all at just $248 a month. Yeah, you heard me right, Mid-South. Soul, Forte, Rio, 3 is your charm, and take your pick. Just $248 a month. Plus, with every new Gossett Kia, you'll find peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So trade up and get top dollar at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
72 months at 2.9 APR, $29.99 down. Sold in 716-1784. MSRP $20,500. Forte ME 402-825. MSRP $20,055. Rio ME 427-894. MSRP $19,755. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Farmers want to make sure you got your favorite things covered and will give you a discount for doing it. Their auto multi-policy discount gives you up to 45% off your auto insurance for bundling policies like boat, motorcycle, RV, home, and life. It's just one of the many ways that you can save with Farmers. Call Daniel Chad Gallen at 901-235-1176 to learn more or get a quote.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.
Not available in every state. Only available with select Farmers branded policies subject to terms and conditions. Underwritten by Farmers, Truck, or Fire Insurance Exchanges, Farmers New World Life Insurance Company, or affiliate.
The Original Hot Dog Factory and Spike's Wing, located at 4265 Hacks Cross Road near 385. The menu offers a variety of all-beef hot dogs with over 20 choices. Try some of the best-selling favorites like the Bacon Wrap Memphis Dog and even sausages like Street Polish, Italian, or Jamaican Jerk Chicken. Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 till 10, and Sunday, 11 to 8. Catering and event hosting is available. Have your next meeting or family gathering at the Original Hot Dog Factory. Now hiring team members. Apply in person. The Original Hot Dog Factory and Spiced Wing.
It's finally time to get out of the house. So make sure you stop by Family Leisure with great prices on in-stock and incoming products. Keep the kids active with play gyms, in stock, ready for delivery. And by the way, installation from the pros, I always recommend that. Markdowns on remaining game room products and those beautiful massage chairs. And the hot tubs, they're going fast. Get out of the house and get to Family Leisure. Wooden Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I just saw one of the greatest golf shots that I've ever witnessed in my life. It's, of course, the Ryder Cup, and it was Jordan Spieth. Unfortunately, Spieth and Thomas lost to Sergio Garcia and John Rahm 3-1. But you'll see the video. I'm sure you'll see it on SportsCenter. It's all over social media. An incredible, incredible shot by Jordan Spieth. Elsewhere at the Ryder Cup today, DJ and Morikawa, 3-2 winner over Hovland and Casey. Cantlay and Schauffele crushed McIlroy and Poulter 5-3, and Koepka and Berger threw 16 or 2 up on Westwood and Fitzpatrick. They're about to win that one unless they totally collapse, and the United States should have 3 wins in 4 matches today at the Ryder Cup day number 1. As promised, time to talk some Grizzlies. Camp, believe it or not, opens up next week. Media Day is Monday. He is the Memphis Grizzlies beat writer from the Daily Memphian. He's Drew Hill. You can follow him on Twitter at DrewHill_DM. He joins us now on Middays. Hey, Drew.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Are you ready? It just seems like the NBA kind of snuck up on everybody.
It has. I don't know if I'm ready. It feels like football just started, you know. You do enjoy the off seasons for sure, because it's kind of your time to relax, and I don't have too much going on, although there have been a few Grizzlies announcements this week. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of ready. I would say kind of. Once I get back in my rhythm, I'll be ready again. But it feels like football season. The weather's super nice and awesome. I'm planning on going out to the Tigers game tomorrow and playing a little golf this weekend. It's still my off season. I'm going to enjoy it until the very end.
Absolutely. But I think when we get there on Monday for Media Day, which we weren't able to do in person last year, I think it will all feel better for everybody involved. Even though we're still wearing the masks, we'll actually be there and see the players. Last year was so tough, and it must have been really tough for you. You do such a great job in covering the team, but you just don't have the ability to get personal with the guys, to be able to, you just don't have the access to these guys like you do normally. And so maybe we're going to get back to what is a normal year for the Grizzlies and for your ability as a beat writer to be able to get the stories that you find.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, we don't know exactly how everything is going to work. But to be honest, I think, you know, my best work as a beat writer, and I know a lot of people who have sent me messages that agree, was like it's not so much the in-depth basketball pick and roll X and O's. It's more so like, let's get to know these guys as people and, write about their lives. And it's really hard to do that over Zoom for a number of different reasons, because we all have competition. We're all trying to write our own things, and everyone ends up with the exact same information. And so that's hard. And then it's also hard to get people to open up and trust you over a phone or over a computer versus, face to face. And so, I'm lucky that I work for a company that is very committed to covering the Grizzlies. And so as long as we have in-person access of some sort, I expect I'll be back on the road traveling, covering the teams, and hopefully that results to a lot more really cool stories about the players off the court and not so much everything that happens on it.
So during the summer, they kept us busy, the Grizzlies did, with a lot of moves. I don't know how substantial the moves were, but they were certainly getting into position to have more ability to do things next year, next offseason. Everybody's kind of pointing toward the summer of 2022. But they made an awful lot of small moves. They were able to bring in a couple of young players that have struggled so far early in their NBA careers, but were highly thought of, and that's why they were drafted as high as they were. Jared Culver being one, Chris Dunn being the other. What storylines are you expecting to see with the Grizzlies this camp? What's the most important thing to keep an eye on?
Oh, Jaren. I mean, Jaren's number one. He's number one basically out of he's bigger than Ja, I think, at this point. Like, we all expect that Ja's going to make a big leap. We all expect that he's going to be an all-star. Jaren is really the player where it feels like the future of this team is kind of at like a teetering point.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If he turns out to be really good, and if he can return to being a player that scores 20 points a game and he can stay healthy, they're going to have to pay him next offseason, which is going to be a big storyline. It doesn't look like or feel like a deal is going to get done, some sort of extension with him before the start of camp. That it would have to be a last-minute deal. So he is really the guy. And I asked him last week when we had the chance to finally talk to him about the extension. He didn't want to give up much. He just said business is business, and if you ask about it, no matter how many times you ask about it, I'm just going to dap you up, and I'm not going to say anything, which I think is probably appropriate. But he's a guy I'm looking forward to hearing from, and also his teammates about him, because the Grizzlies have been extremely committed to him and his future with the team, but I don't feel like the entire fan base or just everyone around the NBA is all the way sold on what his future will look like. And I don't know if I'm all the way sold. Like, he's going to have to do some selling. He's going to have to prove that he can be that player again. And so to me, he is the biggest storyline. The other big storyline, I want to know what's up with Dylan Pand. We saw him in a cast at Summer League. He was the most important player outside of Ja down the stretch for the Grizzlies last year in the playoffs. I want to know if he's healthy. Like, did he have an offseason where he didn't get to do a lot of work because his hand was in a cast most of the time? Like, these are questions that we don't have answers to yet, and we're going to get them on Monday.
I had no idea his hand was in a cast. We don't get much information, if at all, any information from the Grizzlies. They're tight-lipped. But, yeah, that's something I'll be very interested in hearing when we're there on Monday. But you're right about Jaren Jackson Jr. There's no question that he, even though he's not the best player, Ja's the best player, he is the key to the future of this team. And I completely understand where the organization is coming from. Let's see him supposedly 100% healthy, go out there on the court and do the things that he's supposed to do, and showed glimpses of it early in his career in Memphis. But then if he is knocked out by another injury, then you start to worry about the guy's injury prone, and maybe you don't go there with the long-term contract. They may be stuck having to do it no matter what, but I think it's a smart move by the organization to kind of have the wait-and-see attitude. Yeah,
I agree, and I think that is part of it. I mean, look, the the franchise is committed to him to some degree.
Right.
You don't move on from Jonas Valanciunas without being committed to him. Like, part of that deal was that they knew when it happened that there was risk involved. There is risk involved because you're trading away a guy who helped you get to the playoffs, and he's not going to be there to help you get to the playoffs. The Pelicans traded for that guy because they have a star who's unhappy and they need a shortcut to the playoffs, right? That's why the Pelicans made the deal.
Mm-hmm.
The Grizzlies made that deal looking towards the future and also knowing that their vision long-term to go from a good team to a great team that can actually compete in the West is to have Jaren Jackson Jr. be that modern center who can shoot threes and block shots and have defensive versatility and all that. And if he's not that, you're in trouble because you just traded away one of the guys that was your shortcut to get to the playoffs, the guy who can cover up a lot of those flaws. And so, yeah, they've already made a bet on Jaren Jackson Jr. to some degree. It's just like, do you want to shove all in now or are you going to fold? Like, we're going to find out.
So they're back to the normal 15-man roster as far as I know is concerned. I know last year with COVID, there were all different rules they threw in there. There was a lot more players available. Now I think you're back to your 15-man, your 2 two-ways, your Exhibit 10 contracts. So I'm looking up and down the roster. I see that Pons and Tilly are the 2 two-way guys. We'll see what happens with the Exhibit 10 contracts. But to me, it looks like there's 16 guys for 15 positions, but really comes down to 2 for the 1. I think it's between Merrill and Dunn for that last position. Is that the way you look at it?
That is the way that I look at it. I think it's kind of telling, and I don't want to over-invest in this, but when I went to the event last week where they boxed up supplies for teachers, which is where Taylor Jenkins talked, Jared Culver was there. Chris Dunn was not there. Sam Merrill was there. And so the Chris Dunn and Carson Edwards trade, I guess, had processed either the day before or the same day. But a lot of times when players know that they're headed to Memphis, they'll, come early and they'll be there ahead of time.
Right.
So I don't know what to make of that. I'm just noting it because I thought it was interesting that Chris Dunn was not there. It could just be timing or logistics like that. That could be it. I'm not sure of that. I do think you're right, though. I think it comes down to Chris Dunn and Sam Merrill. And, a lot of people want to go with Dunn because he's actually produced real, somewhat impressive numbers. He's been a good defender in his NBA career so far. He might bring something to the team. My question is, they traded away Grayson Allen because they wanted to see Desmond Bane and DeAnthony Melton get minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And now if you're going to keep a guy like Chris Dunn, another guy who's not a great shooter and is a defender, what really is the need for him? Like, he's different than those other guys. He's not the same fit. I almost think it makes more sense to keep Sam Merrill, who can shoot.
Right.
And he can just be a shooter on the end of your, at the end of your rotation, because you might need somebody like that, a specialist like that. Whereas you've already kind of decided your direction when you traded away Grayson Allen. And, it's basically, if you keep Sam Merrill, you can kind of, it's essentially the same thing as like taking a player that's purely a shooter and then just bumping him to the back of the rotation and moving DeAnthony Melton and Desmond Bane up. I don't know. I feel like people want them. Grizzlies fans as a whole probably want them to keep Chris Dunn because he's more proven. I don't know if it makes as much sense to keep Chris Dunn as it does to keep Sam Merrill. I might keep Sam Merrill if I'm the Grizzlies.
Well, it's a really good point you make, but you got to throw into the equation that, remember, the Grizzlies don't like shooting. For some reason over the years, they don't like shooting. If they can get rid of shooters, they'll get rid of shooters. All right, final thing for you. Zaire Williams, what are his prospects for his rookie year? Do you see him being in the rotation? What are your expectations?
I think that he'll be in the back end of the rotation if he is in the rotation. Like, I see him sliding into where, Justice Winslow was at the end of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect him to get heavy minutes at all, but it's a long season. Guys are going to get hurt. That's just natural. And they're going to have back-to-back games where they rest guys. And so I think, on some nights he'll play full rotation minutes, but I feel like he's going to be a back end of the rotation type guy, and he's going to have some games where he's fully in the lineup and other games where he doesn't really see the floor much at all. But he's so young still. He's a couple years away probably still. So, you probably just stick him on the back end of the rotation and hope that he gets better over the course of the year. And then by the end of the season, maybe he is in the rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be a starter or anything like that, though.
Yeah, I think kid gloves the way you handle him, no question. He is Drew Hill, Memphis Grizzlies beat writer for the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at DrewHill_DM. Enjoy your football and golf weekend, and I'm sure I'll run into you on Monday.
Yes. See you, Greg. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Drew. Drew Hill from the Daily Memphian. One of the biggest games of Week 3 in the NFL is the Monday Night Football matchup between NFC East rivals Philadelphia and Dallas, and FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you can end the NFL week right by winning $150 on a $5 bet. I love the Cowboys at home. I think they're going to score points in this game. It's going to be an over. And Amari Cooper to catch a touchdown, anytime touchdown for the Cowboys. That's the way I would play a same-game parlay. At FanDuel, it's easy to use, safe and secure, fast payouts, the #1 rated sportsbook app in America. FanDuel is sports betting made simple. They're always hooking you up with great offers. Plus, when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 24 hours. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Just sign up with promo code GASMAN this week before Dallas takes on Philadelphia. You could win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. You must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. New users only, $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling issue, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. You're listening to Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Grab a seat with Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Hey everybody, it's Rick Earwood, and in my day I've bought several homes, and nothing can be more overwhelming and time-consuming than trying to secure financing. Let me steer you in the direction of Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage, a guy that's been originating loans for 25 years in the greater Memphis area. Tommy does all products, conventional, FHA, USDA, VA. Maybe you're wanting to stay in your home now and just refinance. He can do that as well. So hey, go ahead, give Tommy a call at 901-335-7308. Get your pre-approval so you'll know what you can spend, find your home, and then pack your boxes and get ready to move. It's that easy with Tommy Cotham at Bartlett Mortgage. Call him today at 901-335-7308. Once again, that number, 901-335-7308. Tell him Rick told you to call.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, Diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy, and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
From biscuit sammies to omelets to pancakes to just about anything else you dream of for breakfast or lunch, the place to go is Sunrise on Jefferson. You've heard all your friends talking about it. Now come try Sunrise for yourself. And if you can't get to Sunrise, remember, for breakfast or lunch, Sunrise Catering can always bring it to you. And by the way, we hate being closed on Mondays, and we're hiring team members to serve you again. So if you're hungry for the perfect breakfast or lunch, come to Sunrise. And if you're looking to join a crew that loves their customers, well, that's Sunrise too.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear that three's a charm at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah, so I'm ready to trade up to a Kia sales event with you, my man.
That's right, Randy. 3 rides, all just $248 a month. Take your pick from a 2022 Kia Soul LX, 2021 Kia Forte LXS, or a 2021 Kia Rio LXS. Your choice, $248 a month.
And Soul, longer, better warranty than Honda or Nissan. Forte, more passenger volume and thousands less than Honda Civic. And Rio, higher MPG and thousands less than Corolla. Plus, you'll get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9 APR, $29.99 down. Sold in 716, 1784, MSRP 20,500. Forte ME 402,825, MSRP 20,055. Rio ME 427,894, MSRP 19,755. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. This hour of Sports 56 Middays is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here in hour number 2. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd, Eli off today. Gabe Kuhn, by the way, he has been hosting the Johnny Radio program, Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. That will be the same deal today, along with Bryant Dacus producing the program. Then Gabe returns to Middays producing next week. And then after that, we start in the mornings, myself and Eli, along with Zach, from 7 to 10, starting on October 4th. We gave away a pair of tickets to the Tigers game earlier in the show. We're going to give another pair away right now. 6th caller. 360-8255. 6th caller at 360-8255, AutoZone phone lines. And you got yourself a pair of tickets to go see the Tigers and UTSA tomorrow. This one is going to be a good game, a battle of undefeated teams. 3-0 tomorrow, 2:30 at the Liberty Bowl. The weather is expected to be splendid. So 6th caller, and you got yourself a pair of tickets to tomorrow's game. We're going to give away another pair next hour, and then Gabe's going to give away 2 pairs during Sports 56 Happy Hour. This is a scary, scary story here. British actor Tom Felton. If you're a fan of Harry Potter, you know who this guy is. Now, I've seen the Harry Potter movies, but I didn't know what the character. I watched them, but other than the main guy, Harry Potter, I don't think I know any of the characters' names. Tom Felton played Draco Malfoy. Draco Malfoy. And I think he was the adversary to Harry Potter. He collapsed while playing a celebrity golf exhibition Thursday at the Ryder Cup. Organizers said only that Felton experienced a medical incident at Whistling Straits, was taken to a local hospital for treatment. They provided no more information. He was on the 18th hole when he went down. He was helped to his feet, placed on a stretcher, driven away in a golf cart. He had actually turned 34 on Wednesday. So who knows, maybe, I'm just speculating here, had a good time on Wednesday partying, and maybe that's what happened, and hopefully he's okay. and there's no serious medical issues. But Felton was representing Europe, obviously, in the celebrity match, which is held the day before the U.S. and Europe start the Ryder Cup. He has appeared in a number of movies, most notably, as I mentioned, the Harry Potter series, 8 different films. The United States off to a terrific start at the Ryder Cup. Today was, by the way, we have our 6th caller. Thank you. Today was foursome, so it's alternate shots. And the United States able to win 3 of the 4 matchups. The only one they lost was John Rahm and Sergio Garcia took down Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth 3-1. But Spieth had the shot of the century. You have to see this video. It's hard to describe it. I don't know how he even got his club on the ball. And he makes the shot. He's so off balance. He goes from a hill. Everything goes downhill. And he is like stumbling backwards, like beyond the green, almost to the Lake Michigan. It's incredible. But again, in a losing effort, DJ Morikawa beat Casey and Hovland 3-2. Koepka and Berger over Westwood and Fitzpatrick 2-1. And Cantlay and Schauffele, they destroyed McIlroy and Poulter 5-3. So you did not get Bryson DeChambeau and Brooks Koepka together. You also didn't get Bryson DeChambeau playing at all on day one of the Ryder Cup. But Steve Stricker making the right combinations. Made it count. They win 3 of 4 matches. Great start for the United States. The Tigers, as I mentioned, will play UTSA tomorrow at 2:30. All eyes will be on this game as you got a battle of undefeateds. I was on yesterday, as I am every Thursday at 5 o'clock with Wolo and Stats, and we were talking about the run that the Tigers could possibly be on if they could take care of business on Saturday because of what is happening in the American Conference. They've yet to play a conference game. But you got Dylan Gabriel hurt at UCF. We don't know if he'll be back in time for the Memphis game. Now, they play Houston very late in the season, but Clayton Tune got banged up in his last game. Temple is the next game after UTSA. That's a Temple team that is struggling. It is on the road. But the Tigers 0-1. They owe the Owls after what happened up there in Philadelphia a couple years ago. You got Navy coming to Memphis. Navy is really struggling to score points. You don't have Cincinnati on your regular season schedule. But again, you do have UCF, possibly minus Dylan Gabriel. Now, we were talking about this last week when the injury happened, or maybe it was earlier this week, Joey Gatewood, a guy who started at Auburn, transferred to Kentucky, got beat out by Will Levis, the Penn State transfer, and decided to transfer again to UCF. And so he is available for Gus Malzahn. Of course, they were together at Auburn. But Gatewood obviously is not the player that he thought he was, as he's getting beaten out everywhere he goes. But he's been around the game for a while, so he could be just what the doctor ordered for UCF to back up Gabriel while Gabriel is out. But, again, no timetable on Dylan Gabriel with his injury. But it really sets up fairly well for the Tigers if they could take care of business. It starts this week. And this week will not be easy, as we've talked about all week long previewing this game. Also yesterday was the story that came down, and Eli and I talked about it, that University of Memphis president, Dr. M. David Rudd, who is a friend of the show and just terrific. You can't say anything negative about his tenure at the University of Memphis. He's done so many positive things, athletics, academics, across the board. What they have done to build new structures there, renovations of old things, just amazing run. Well, he's been appointed to the NCAA Division I Board of Directors, representing the American Athletic Conference. Rudd is one of 24 members on the board, and his term expires in August of 2025. So I brought up the obvious question. When I saw the story, the obvious question is, does that mean he's going to stay longer? I know that he has announced his retirement. He's hanging in there until they find a suitable replacement. I don't know how they deem somebody suitable. How do they know? Certainly for the sake of Memphis athletics, it's a president that cares about athletics. But I believe Wolo was talking about spring of 2022. Well, again, if you're going to be a part of this board and your term expires in August of 2025, I would have to think you are connected with a school and not be in the past. In other words, that you were formally connected to a school. So does that mean Dr. Rudd has had a change of heart and will stay longer? Now, I know there's been inquiries made to the university about trying to find more information from the horse's mouth, but Dr. Rudd, I believe, is currently traveling and unavailable to comment on this. But it would be very interesting, and I think a good thing, if Dr. Rudd decides that he wants to stay longer. This doesn't mean necessarily that that will happen. And again, I don't know. Maybe he could be a board member and be a former president. It just doesn't seem that that would be the way. Interesting. So keep an eye on that. That's something very important. Of course, Memphis right now in the conversation for the possibility of the Big 12 adding a few more. That story is out there. We touched on that yesterday. And keep an eye on the American Conference doing some things in the coming weeks. Chris Vanini reported that from The Athletic yesterday, that there's a good chance that they will announce probably 3 new teams to replace Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF in the next few weeks. When we come back, final hour for the week for us, we will talk with our good friend Randy Fietner, the former Steelers offensive coordinator, former Memphis Tigers OC. We'll talk NFL with Randy, get his thoughts on what's happened through the first couple of weeks of the season. Then later on in the hour, we have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation, and we'll give you another chance to win a pair of tickets to see the Tigers and the Roadrunners tomorrow afternoon. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Folks, good news for bargain hunters and bandits from the Chevy Sheriff in Collierville. It's Western Trading Days at Sunrise Chevy. Lots of new Chevys and used cars in stock just in time for the Sunrise Low Price Rodeo. Check out the savings at sunrisememphis.com, and don't forget, Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good body shop? Bring it to Sunrise. We work on all makes and models, and remember, you can bring your Chevy to Sunrise for service no matter where you bought it. Buy American and buy from Sunrise. Find new roads to the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, 385 in Houston Levy and Collierville. Chevys cost less at Sunrise, partner.
It's hot outside and your air conditioner just quit. Quick, who do you call? Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, of course, with 24-hour emergency service available. Automatic understands your house is unique, so they work fast to find the right solution for your family's comfort and budget needs. And with financing available and payments as low as $75 a month, it's never been easier to make your home comfortable. Call 363-4636 or go online to itsautomatic.com. Turn to the experts at Automatic Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend, Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
When it comes to tires, auto repair, and car maintenance, Gateway has it all. Gateway Tire and Service Center is here to help you with all your service and tire needs. Choose from Yokohama, Toyo, Firestone, and Michelin. The list goes on and on. We have tires for all your needs and budgets. And when it comes to service, Gateway Tire has the most experienced mechanics and state-of-the-art equipment. Come see us for any repairs, alignment, struts, air conditioner, schedule maintenance, and more, including brakes with a free brake inspection. Then take advantage of the Gateway credit card. Apply today for stress-free financing made easy with no annual fee. Ask about our 6-month deferred interest with any purchase over $149. Go to gatewaytireandservice.com for great deals and coupons. Gateway Tire and Service Center has it all for you and your family.
At Gateway Tire, we go the distance for you.
Memphis, it's official, honey. Crab Kings is where it's at.
The best seafood with 7 flavors to choose from. Try the shrimp, chicken, salmon, and fried lobster pastas. There's snow crab, king crab, dungeons, and more. Please don't forget about the calamari, shrimp, and lobsters, honey. The portions, the price, the taste is only at Crab Kings. Download our app and search Crab Kings on Google. Visit us at crabkingstn.com. Crab Kings, where the flavor is king.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place, that's how. 5S Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. 5S Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5S Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5S Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Everyone's watching to see what you do.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:04 of the time. Final hour for us today here on Middays. Final hour for us this week, in fact, as we get you set for the sports weekend. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd. Eli is off today. He'll return Monday. We will be broadcasting Monday from Grizzlies Media Day at FedEx Forum. Of course, our final week before we move the Middays program to the mornings from 7 to 10 starting on October 4th. If you have any comments, questions, concerns about anything in the world of sports, hit us up on the AutoZone text line. AutoZone, get in the zone. AutoZone, 360-8255. Also, we are in the Family Leisure Studios. Big shout out to Family Leisure for being one of our great sponsors. It's where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. It's always a pleasure to talk football with our good buddy Randy Fietner, the former Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, of course, offensive coordinator with the Memphis Tigers, and our NFL insider. He joins us now on Sports 56 Middays. Hey, Randy, how are you?
Greg, how are you?
Doing pretty good. It's interesting. I'm looking at the standings in the AFC. Of course, you coached in the AFC for so many years with the Steelers. We're 2 weeks in, 2 weeks in one game. We got two undefeated teams, both not expected to really do a lot this year, and everybody else is 1-1, 0-2. Is there parity in the AFC, or are teams like out of the gate struggling a bit? And that includes Kansas City and Buffalo. Each have a loss so far.
Yeah, I mean, the league is it's ultimate parity. I mean, everyone in the league is capable of winning. I say that, and I know some folks would think that, maybe Jacksonville or a couple teams that maybe with new coaches and younger players. But I tell you got to play every week. You got to be prepared every week. Things change, whether it's injury, COVID, all the different factors. Now there's just the factors of having fans back in the stands.
Right.
I read something the other day, and I thought it was kind of coincidental because generally home field advantage is kind of key in the league. I just happened to work at a place that we felt like home field advantage was everywhere we went. Steeler Nation was so big and so grand that they just seemed to take over stadiums and buy tickets and want to see you play. I probably didn't get to feel that as much as other teams did.
Mm-hmm.
But I promise you, when you go on the road in the National Football League, it's tough, and you can throw records out. I do think a lot might have to do with the influx now of maybe younger quarterbacks, first, second, third year guys that are still working to grow in that league. And you don't see many of the older guys. I know you see the oldest, and we hear about them all the time in Tom Brady. But Ben and Aaron Rodgers, Matt Stafford. There's just a handful of guys that have been there, done that guys, and all the others are all, including Pat Mahomes, are all really relatively young, and so there may be some inconsistencies, but it's a tough league, I promise.
Well, look, I completely agree with you about the home field advantage, especially now with fans coming back. Last year, not the same without the fans. It certainly wasn't the same. But here we are. We kick off 2021, and let's talk about your Steelers. They go on the road to open the season, down 10-0. They rally. They beat a really good Buffalo team. Then they come home. Vegas is their opponent. Vegas has to cross country to go to Pittsburgh in front of those rabid fans. They just played an overtime game against Baltimore. I would have never thought in a million years that Vegas was going to win that game, and they did. So explain that to me.
Well, again, every week I think has to be measured a little bit differently because, again, I don't, injuries that creep in that certain guys don't play, and it changes the consistency of a game. Mm-hmm. I know that, you have an awful lot of time to prepare. When you're preparing for your first opponent, many times you've already done that in the spring. You've taken your staff and said, "Hey, let's spend 2 or 3 days this week, and we would talk about and break down the Buffalo Bills." And then you revisit that as you start in the preseason after watching maybe a preseason game or two that they had, which we didn't have last year. We had no preseason game, so there was some preseason evaluation that you could have made this year. And so you formulate this plan, you have all this time. Now, you finish on Sunday, you're on the road, you've got to come back, you got to tidy that game up. Players take a day off, you get a day to prepare. In essence, you get 1 day to kind of put in your base game plan. Then you take your second that evening, and you work on your situational football, whether it be third downs, red zone, goal line, those type of things. And so, the time just, hits you quicker. And so therefore, maybe a new staff, maybe communication, maybe not knowing if a guy is going to be eligible to play, and he's going to go through the week and see where he's at physically. All those things go into plan. What was incredible, and has to be, is the idea that, the Vegas Raiders did come off playing a very good opponent on a Monday night. Game went into overtime, turned around and flew cross country and found a way to win a game, a 1 o'clock start game, 12 o'clock, 10 o'clock their time. So, they may be better than what maybe folks thought going into the season.
Yeah, it was a great win, and it's taken a while for Gruden, but maybe he's got those guys where he needs to have them, and it's obvious through 2 weeks he does. But if they can maintain that throughout the season, that's probably a playoff team. Randy Fichtner is joining us, former Steelers offensive coordinator. What were you going to say?
Greg, I coached Derek Carr in a Pro Bowl down in Orlando, and so the Pro Bowl quarterback. That we had a rotation, and Derek was going to play in the third quarter, and we were going to rotate out the fourth and just see, who wanted it, who had the feel, that type of thing. So we came out, and I want to say Ben might have played the first 2 series. Alex Smith came in for a couple series, and then just before the end of the half, I said, "Hey, Derek, why don't you take the 2-minute drive, or the end of the half drive?" And he said, "Okay." So he went in, came back in the third quarter. I put Alex Smith back in midway through the third quarter just so he could get a little bit more time. We got to the fourth quarter, and Derek was like, "I'll take the whole thing if I can have it." And the two older quarterbacks are like, sure, we want to. So it came down to a 4th down and 7 call. And I'll never forget, we used our last time out. It was 4th and 7 from about the 40, plus 45. And I'll never forget, he walked off and he looked at me right in the eye and he says, hey, what about that option route to Jarvis? And Jarvis Landry's looking right at me and says, yeah, coach, call that one. I said, which side do you want to line up on, the right or the left? Because, in the structures of the defenses that they're allowed to play, they can only put certain people in certain sides and things like that.
Right.
So he said, hey, I'll take the left. So I said, all right. So we called the formation. He went out, called it, made the conversion. One play later, he split a seam to the tight end from Tennessee Titans, and we scored a touchdown to go ahead. And I remember walking off that night, and I've stayed in a lot of contact with him and Alex. Matter of fact, I wished him good luck in the game this week as he was traveling to go to Pittsburgh. But he's just he's got fire. He's got balls. He can throw a football, and that's 3.5 years ago. So and that's a new coach. So I mean, I just think that you're seeing a time right now where I would not sleep on Derek Carr.
Mm-hmm. No, I hear you, and you got to appreciate somebody who wants it that bad in a Pro Bowl game like Derek Carr. All right, let me ask you about some of these other quarterbacks. Obviously, before you became the OC, you were the quarterbacks coach with Pittsburgh and Ben Roethlisberger, but we have a couple of interesting stories so far early in the year. Carolina played last night, so Carolina and Houston have 3 games under their belts compared to the 2 for everybody else. And Carolina's now 3-0 with Sam Darnold leading the way, looking like a completely different quarterback. How important is it sometimes to just have a whole change of venue, wipe the slate clean, and start anew? Because Sam Darnold looks like a different quarterback.
Well, I think you're seeing that, and I think if you went back in history, you'd see it, that a change of scenery, a change of atmosphere can be good. I think probably more than not, it ends up ending not positive and probably negative.
Mm-hmm.
The team that drafts you, and most quarterbacks that get drafted in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd round, these are guys that team has really committed to, and they want to stay committed to, and they're going to see you through the rough patch, that early development patch. I think in that situation, it was probably best on both parties to say, hey, we got to dissolve this. And what you're getting a chance to see out of Sam is the talent that he had coming in. I can remember years ago, Clay Helton calling me and talking to me about, he's got a lot of talent. And I think you just got to get some of that confidence. You got to have potentially schematics that allow him to be him.
Mm-hmm.
And you're seeing his best self right now. And I think that, you tag that with a really solid defense, some playmakers, and they're going to be tough to contend with as well.
If you were the OC of the Bears this week, and you have Justin Fields, who is going to start for the injured Andy Dalton, you're playing at Cleveland, and they got some Bears on the defensive side. How would you put a game plan together for a youngster like Justin Fields?
Well, I mean, I think you want to be able to limit the opportunity of him having to be in the pocket. There's going to be enough of those in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's 3rd down and 5, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 12. You're going to be in those situations where it's drop back pass time. I've got to make a decision. I've got to keep a rhythm, and I've got to get the ball out to the appropriate guy, not take a sack, not put the ball in jeopardy of throwing an interception versus complex coverages and rushes. Outside of that, I think you rely on your run game. You use him as a potential runner as well. He's athletic. I think you move the pocket. You hope that you can stay ahead of the chains enough to be able to utilize your play action. If you get behind the chains, you're not being successful on 1st and 2nd down. It's going to be a long night for a young quarterback, and that's just the way it is. Cleveland's very good on defense. They put a lot of resources in building their defense,
mm-hmm.
and they're explosive on offense. So you're gonna, you can't get down because they're capable of putting points up. They're capable of holding on to the ball with Nick Chubb. It's a unique challenge for them and him in this first game. But on the other end, let's don't put a ceiling on. I mean, let's just say, hey, let's go out and play ball. Let's have some fun. We're not going to judge this too much. I mean, let's play, have fun, and who knows? He may walk away victorious.
Speaking of the young quarterbacks in the league, the rookies, and we'll keep Trey Lance out of the conversation since he really hasn't played, but 3 others are starting. And you've seen some good, but you've seen a lot of bad so far from Zach Wilson, Trevor Lawrence tasting defeat for probably the first time in his life. And Mac Jones has been very consistent for the Patriots. How would you evaluate those 3?
Well, 2 of the situations are somewhat similar, so you might be able to pull from that between New York and Jacksonville. Very young teams, new coaches, new staffs, everything pointing towards future, and probably not a whole lot, if you really want to cut down the layers, pointing towards now being the future. New England's always been steady, the consistency. I think you're talking about, just an easier situation to potentially have success as a youthful player. It is awful hard when you're put into that role. I always think that, a young quarterback that got to hang out with Ben, with Eli, with Peyton, think about if you were hanging out with Drew Brees or Tom Brady.
Right.
I mean, and you're watching how they go about their work week. So much in the first year is trying to handle and get your system down to how do you handle the whole week. There's a lot more things pulling on these guys. Forget about any family or maybe wife or child. I'm just talking about just the media, what you have to do for your body. What days are designated post-practice, pre-practice towards body rehab and development. There's an awful lot on these guys, and sometimes it's easier to watch somebody who's going through it and say, I could mimic that. I see what you're doing on Tuesday nights. I see the chef that comes up to your house on Wednesday nights because it's kind of important that this meal be the perfect meal. Right. I realize that maybe, Tuesdays during my day off, I can't spend it going from Walmart, going to all the different places in town that want to fool me into signing autographs for $2,000 or $10,000, whatever it might be. I can't spend my day on my feet and running around doing all this. There's just a lot of things like that come up. And I think the young guy, without maybe, having that veteran quarterback to be able to maybe
lean on, right? Yeah,
yeah, and ask questions. And why would you make that throw? There's just little comments that I can remember over the years. At one time we had Charlie Batts, Byron Leftwich, and Ben Roethlisberger in the same room, and the young developmental quarterback I had. That guy's looking, whether he's going to make the team or not, he's going, wow, I can ask the question to any one of these guys. Mm-hmm. His name is Dennis Dixon. He was a really good
Oregon guy, right?
Quarterback from Oregon.
Yeah.
And Dennis could just pull any question out in the room, and you just got all these 10 years of experience starting, 7 years of experience there, first-round draft pick, second-round draft pick. Just all this. And I always just say, Dennis, you have no idea what you got right here. Mm-hmm. You got to squeeze these guys for everything you can get, because it'll be invaluable. And so I know for a fact these guys don't have that. Okay? And nothing against the coach, nothing against the greatest coaches in the world. The fact is, you're kind of like coach or dad. And sometimes young people don't always listen to their dad. Mm-hmm. And they can forge their own path. And you have to learn the hard way.
Where do you think, Randy, the pressure comes from in this day and age of having to play the young stud quarterback? And granted, that young stud quarterback is going to be probably the best of the bunch, or you wouldn't draft him as high as you did. But back in the day, you never threw those quarterbacks to the Wolves in year one, especially week one. Why do you think is there pressure now on organizations because they spend so much money and invest so much time in these youngsters to play them right away? Why do you think it is?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, I think it initially starts into the investment. So it's about money, and it's about, you're only going to have X amount of time before that rookie contract's up.
Right.
When that rookie contract's up, the decisions have to be made, And so if you sit, for instance, Aaron Rodgers may sit a couple of years behind a Brett Favre, he's getting towards the end of his rookie contract, and maybe you don't even know if he's that guy that you're going to move forward with, and that's kind of scary because, you're never going to have these guys for less money than their rookie deals. And even though you're a first pick of the draft, and yes, you're making the most money of anybody in that draft, and it is a lot of money, you're going to really make your real money in your next contract.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got to produce. And so they're pushing to produce. And obviously everyone wants to find that 10-year guy that's going to be their quarterback for the next 10 to 15 years and give them a chance to win, repetitive Super Bowls or at least compete for playoffs every year.
Our final thing for you, obviously we're all just enthralled by what Tom Brady is still doing. He seems to have – it doesn't even seem like he's reached his peak. He's 44 years old. He's playing incredible football. Ben Roethlisberger, one of the greats of all time. Obviously, Peyton has recently retired, and Eli's done, and all these great quarterbacks. When they are around Tom Brady, are they also in awe of Brady? Like, do they look at Brady as being like the level above everybody else, and then the rest of the greats fall into line right after Brady? How is he received by other quarterbacks, especially one that you coached for so many years and is headed to the Hall of Fame, Ben Roethlisberger?
I just know it just firsthand. I know that there was such respect from Ben to Tom. You can't. You're competing, and you're competing in the same conference, and so you're going to have to see each other on your way to a Super Bowl if you're going to get there. So there's a competitiveness, gamesmanship that potentially just outside of the normal, congratulations and or best of luck or, I wish you well. But there was more behind the scenes. Ben respected Tom. He respected everything that he did. When your body aches after weeks of games, I heard Drew Brees talking about, just recently, he was talking about, man, it's hard to believe because he's an older gentleman too.
Mm-hmm.
You just get older and things don't come back as quick, and you don't heal as good, and you feel the aches and pains more. Ben had mentioned it even 2 weeks ago after Buffalo. He shot me a text and said, boy, man, this may take me a couple of days, because your body can't take it like it used to. He's found a way to take it, and he's found a way to deal with it. I think he has probably mastered what I was talking about before.
Mm-hmm.
How do you yearly take care of your body? How do you yearly manage your mind? How do you manage your week? He has this down to a science. Young guys need to bottle it up. I don't know who all Tampa's quarterbacks have been down there since he's been there, but I mean, you can't pay for this experience, to be around him. And I think that, BA is very intelligent, and between him and Byron, they know that, hey, if we keep him doing the things that he's comfortable with, that falls within our system, then you know what, we can ride this horse for a while, because they can keep him upright, he can keep himself upright, and he's doing all the right things. Unfortunately, I do think that as you get older, if you do get that nick, that injury,
harder to come back from.
It may be harder to come back. There's no doubt. It's just in that that whole process. But he's found a way not to put himself in that position, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. I mean, I tip a hat to him. I know that probably quarterback I would have been around would say the same thing, and that it's incredible what he does.
He is the former Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator, former Memphis Tigers offensive coordinator as well. He is Randy Fietner, our NFL insider. Randy, as always, thank you so much. We'll be talking soon, I'm sure. Enjoy the games this weekend.
Yep, and I happened to catch you the other day, the game with Isaac Bruce being there and Mississippi State, and wow, that was awesome, man.
Well, you know what? I was asked the other day, I think it might have been Harold Grader who had asked me the other day. He said, was Randy there? I said, no, but Randy was, he was called out the Hall of Fame. He was at the Hall of Fame, so he was there, so he didn't need to be here. He's already been with Isaac celebrating the Hall. But, yeah, your name had popped up as far as that's concerned because it was great. They had so many of his teammates and alums that were there, and they topped it off with a great win. So it was a terrific Saturday.
It was awesome. That was great to even see. I remember one of his biggest games he ever played was at Mississippi State. And I only bring it up because I tease Bruce Arians all the time. Bruce was the OC at Mississippi State when we took Isaac down there with Steve Matthews and Russell Copeland in the group, and we wore them out one night. Isaac had a great day down in Starkville, and it was an awesome night.
Were they doing the cowbells back then?
Oh, it was crazy. I mean, it was crazy. It even made it that much sweeter. I think I grabbed the cowbell and took it home. I rode home with Vic. I can't remember. It was Vic, a couple other guys, maybe even Keith Butler. We all rode home in a van with our wives. Man, we had a blast. It was a lot of fun.
Randy, thank you as always. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Take care. Randy Fietner, former Memphis OC, of course, longtime Pittsburgh Steelers quarterbacks coach and offensive coordinator. The NFL is back. FanDuel Sportsbook wants you to get the most out of every play. That's why they're giving everyone a $10 risk-free bet every week. All you have to do is bet a same-game parlay bet with 3 legs or more. If your bet doesn't win, FanDuel will pay you back up to $10. So, again, the Monday night game is the one I really like. I love the Cowboys, I love the over, and I love Amari Cooper to score a touchdown. That's the 3-leg parlay I would go with. Fast payouts, easy to use, safe and secure. That's why it's America's #1 sports book. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay. So lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook. Get up to $10 back if your bet doesn't win. And if you're new to FanDuel Sportsbook, also claim your 30-1 odds on either team to win in the Monday night game between Philly and Dallas. Just sign up with promo code GASMAN. And if your first bet loses, you'll get up to $1,000 back in site credit. That's promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Max refund $10. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Same game parlay available for multiple sports in all states on the mobile device and on the web. Gambling problem? Call Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. All right, time to be generous. When we come back, we're going to give away some more Tigers tickets for Saturday's game against UTSA, and we'll play 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I thought we were done with this.
Say ya, Petey.
Don't call me Petey.
We're back, baby, doing Central Barbecue commercials.
This is very exciting.
Reminding everyone that there are 4 locations, all with that perfect Central Barbecue, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue.
You know, you don't really need me for these.
No, I want you for these. We're a team, you and me, telling the world about the best ribs in Memphis. Maybe the best ribs in the world, Central Barbecue ribs.
See, you didn't need me to do that, and don't call
Petey,
me.
Central Barbecue spots wouldn't be the same without you.
I think they would.
You know you love it, and there's no better barbecue than Central Barbecue.
Whether you're driving for distance, pitching for precision, or putting to win it all, come to Edwin Watts Golf Shop to get custom fit for all your clubs throughout your bag. Hit a few balls and let our team show you the latest swing technology and data that will help optimize your game. Having each club tailored to become your gamers will help you start shooting lower scores. Let Edwin Watts Golf Shops help you make every shot the perfect one. Come in and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear that 3's a charm at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah, so I'm ready to trade up to a Kia sales event with you, my man.
That's right, Randy. 3 rides, all just $248 a month. Take your pick from a 2022 Kia Soul LX, 2021 Kia Forte LXS, or a 2021 Kia Rio LXS. Your choice, $248 a month.
And Soul, longer, better warranty than Honda or Nissan. Forte, more passenger volume and thousands less than Honda Civic. And Rio, higher MPG and thousands less than Corolla Corolla, plus you'll get Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah, or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 72 months at 2.9 APR, $29.99 down. Sold in 716-1784. MSRP $20,500. Forte ME $402,825. MSRP $20,055. Rio ME $427,894. MSRP $19,755. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
Guns and Ammo has a full line of Pro Shot products. A tremendous selection of accessories from belts, holsters, gun cases, specialty boxes, Benchmade knives, and assorted optics. At Guns and Ammo, enjoy selecting all your favorite firearms, from hunting supplies to target shooting to self-defense. Experience the excellence at Guns and Ammo with a friendly, knowledgeable staff and hundreds of guns to choose from. Guns and Ammo, 3615 Summer Avenue, Memphis local, and supporting the NRA and Friends of the NRA. Guns and Ammo, family owned since 1985.
The Tigers are home Saturday as they continue their undefeated streak. The Roadrunners of UTSA will be coming to Memphis for a 2:30 kickoff. Get your tickets today. The all-new Tiger Terrace presented by Green Mountain Technology is available on a limited inventory for this exclusive premium area for each remaining home game. Call 901-678-2331 or visit GoTigersGoTix.com. Saturday, Memphis versus UTSA at 2:30. Sponsored by KTG USA.
Back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
It's a cold wet December day when you touch the ground at JFK. Snow was melting on the ground. Yes, I heard the sound of an angel.
Welcome back, everybody. 12:34 the time. Less than a half hour to go before my weekend begins. We're getting you set for the sports weekend. Should be a great sports weekend. You have college football, you have the NFL, you have the Ryder Cup, Major League Baseball. We got about 9-10 days remaining in the regular season, so a lot happening this weekend. The NFL has announced that they're going to play one of their 6 wild card games, the playoffs, on a Monday night. Interesting. They're extending the wild card weekend. League announced it earlier today. It's 6 first-round playoff games. The Monday night game would be played on January 17th. So you have 2 games on the Saturday, which is January 15th. You'll have 3 games on Sunday, January 16th. And then you have a game on January 17th on Monday Night Football. Seems a little strange. I love it. It's another day of NFL football, but that's the announcement from the National Football League. Right now, we have a pair of tickets to give away for the Tigers and UTSA. They will play tomorrow afternoon at 2:30. We're looking for caller number 3. Caller number 3 at 360-8255. Caller number 3 at 360-8255. Giving away a pair of tickets to the game between the Tigers and the Roadrunners. We've already given away 2 pair. And Gabe Kuhn, who's once again pinch hitting for John Harden, he'll be in starting at 1. He's also going to give away a couple of pair of tickets for the game against the Roadrunners. I've talked about this game a number of times today. We previewed it yesterday during the Tiger Football Report. We had Coach Traylor from UTSA on the program. We had Ryan Silverfield, who joins us every week to get the Memphis side of things. And I'm telling you, don't sell UTSA short. This is a really good team, and I know the Tigers will be focused, but it's understandable to be possibly a little emotionally flat after the big performance on Saturday, the big win against Mississippi State. I don't think they'll be that way because Coach Silverfield and his staff will have these guys ready to go. They know what's in front of them. It's certainly a big game. It's a non-conference game. So there's that, but it is a big game to try to remain unbeaten before you get into conference play. We do have our third caller, by the way. Again, 2 more pair of tickets will be given away during Sports 56 Happy Hour. Gabe Kuhn in for John Harden. But Yeah, it is going to be an interesting game. Certainly the Tigers would love to have your support. The weather looks like it's going to be fantastic tomorrow afternoon. So if you get on over to Liberty Bowl Stadium, please do so and enjoy the Tigers and the Roadrunners. Right now, it's time for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
All right, we have a great prize package to offer you guys. If you want to play 10 in a row, you just need to jump on the AutoZone phone lines at 360-8255. 360-8255. We're giving away a $25 gift certificate to East Coast Wings, $25 to Sweetgrass, 2 Malco passes, and a foursome at Miramichi Golf Course, all for the winner of 10 in a row. Once again, $25 East Coast Wings, $25 Sweetgrass, 2 Malco passes, and a foursome at Miramichi Golf Course. If you have won in the last 30 days, you are ineligible. If you have won in the last 30 days, let's give somebody else an opportunity. But right now, open phone lines, AutoZone phone lines, 360-8255. Current events question. So going into this weekend in college football, which is week 4 if you're scoring at home, winless teams, I'll give you the name of a team, name of a school. If that team in college football is winless, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. For example, if I said Memphis, it would be a no. They're undefeated. If I had said UMass, the answer would be yes. They are winless. There's not a ton of winless teams out there, but there is enough. So again, the question, winless teams going into week 4 of the college football season. I'll give you the name of the school. If they are winless in college football this season, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. 360-8255. Again, $25 East Coast Wings, $25 Sweetgrass, 2 Malco passes, 2 movie passes for Malco Theaters, and a foursome at Miramichi Golf Course. Great place to play golf. That is a terrific prize package. All right, let's get right into it. First up is Matt. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good. All right, here we go. Winless teams going into this weekend in college football. UNLV.
No.
360-8255. There's not a ton of winless teams out there, but UNLV is one of them. Tim is next. Hi, Tim.
Hi.
Florida State.
Yes.
Vanderbilt.
No.
Tulsa.
Yes.
Washington State.
No.
Rice.
Yes.
Tulane.
No.
Arizona.
No.
360-8255. Good run by Tim, but not good enough. Next up is D. Hi, D.
Hey, how you doing today?
Doing well. Winless teams going into week 4 of the college football season. UNLV.
Yes.
Georgia Tech.
No.
Navy.
Yes.
Troy.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. Next up is George. Hey, George.
Hey, guys.
Florida State.
Yes.
Vanderbilt.
No.
Tulsa.
Yes.
Washington State.
No.
Rice.
Yes.
Tulane.
No.
Arizona.
Yes.
North Texas.
No.
Northwestern.
No.
New Mexico State.
No.
Nice job, George. You are a winner, my friend. We'll put you on hold.
Great.
And yeah, Zach will get your information. Once again, the winning prize package for George, $25 to East Coast Wings, $25 to Sweetgrass, 2 Malco passes, and a foursome at Miramichi. That's 10 in a row. We do it each and every Friday. We will not have a second chance opportunity today. The other list that we did not get to. You ready, Zach, to play this?
I am.
UNLV.
Yes.
Georgia Tech.
No.
Navy.
Yes.
Troy. Mike's not on.
Troy? Yes.
Cal. Keep your mic on.
No.
UConn.
Yes.
Hawaii.
No.
Toledo.
No.
Kansas.
Yeah. No.
Colorado State.
No.
Okay. Good finish.
So it's just one.
Good finish. You bobbled there in the middle. There you go. That's 10 in a row, the game show.
And our winner is George.
Huh? Our winner is George. George nailed it. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back, kind of wrap up the day, get you ready for the sports weekend, a few tidbits to get into, and then we'll wrap it up with one final thing before I hand things over to Gabe Kuhn and Bryant Dacus. Gabe in co-hosting with Bryant. Bryant's producing the program and helping him co-host, but it's been Gabe all week long, in for John Harden. This is Middays on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
Like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Are you ready to trade up to a Kia sales event and get our best deal of the year? Well, we got it Kia on Covington Pike. So get ready and take your pick from 2022 Kia Soul, 2021 Kia Forte, and 2021 Kia Rio. We got them all at just $248 a month. Yeah, you heard me right, Mid-South. Soul, Forte, Rio, 3 is your charm, and take your pick. Just $248 a month. Plus, with every new Gossett Kia, you'll find peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So trade up and get top dollar at Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
72 months at 2.9 APR, $29.99 down. Sold in 716-1784. MSRP $20,500. Forte ME 402-825. MSRP $20,055. Rio ME 427-894. MSRP $19,755. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF $695. Must finance through Kia on low APR. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 8/31/2021. Dealer stock only.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
The bridge is open. Now it's really easy to take the 15-minute drive to Cypress View Golf and Recreation and enjoy the spectacular upgrades made to the clubhouse and golf course. The fairways are looking great and the greens are better than ever. No traffic, no excuses. If you're tired of paying greens and cart fees, Cypress View has a membership that includes unlimited golf, cart, range balls, and more. A family membership is just $199 per month plus tax. Members also have access to the Olympic-sized pool, fitness center, and tennis courts. The golf shop is stocked with FootJoy apparel, Titleist bags, and equipment. A huge selection of Puka headwear and more. Cypress View Grill has a wide selection of choices from burgers to brats, Phillies to quesadillas, flatbreads to oven-fired pizzas. You're covered from golf to goods to grub. And now Cypress View has a beer license, so grab a cold one in the grill. See why Cypress View Golf and Recreation is one of the fastest growing clubs in the Mid-South. Call 870-739-6305 or visit online cypressviewgolf.com.
There's now a faster and easier way to pick up your Corky's Barbecue. Order and pay online, pull into the designated spot, text Corky's to 474747, and we'll bring your order right to your car. No waiting.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now, back to Sports 56 Middays. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Final segment here on Middays. Greg Gaston, Zach Boyd, Eli off today. Eli will rejoin me on Monday. We'll be broadcasting live from Grizzlies Media Day at FedEx Forum from 10 to 1 on Monday. Once again, as I started out the show today, our thoughts and prayers are with everybody affected by yesterday's horrific and tragic shooting in Collierville. We are praying for those who remain in the hospital, as 13 were injured. Of course, one fatality, 2 if you count the shooter, who took his life by a self-inflicted gunshot. You get scared when you see that something is in your own backyard, when it's right here in the Memphis area. It really, really hits home. But as I said at the beginning of the show today, to look on the web, I was looking at CNN and Fox, and I was trying to get updates on the story if there was anything more, and it wasn't even a story. On their, like, they had 25 stories, and it wasn't even there. And that's scary. That's scary when it's becoming too commonplace, these mass shootings and these type of incidents, whether it be school shootings or shootings, in this case, at a Kroger store in Collierville. Just a horrible, horrible day yesterday. And again, I don't want to, we talk sports. That's what we do on the show. But I began the show with a conversation about yesterday's events and basically finishing up the show today with, again, the conversation on what's happening with yesterday's shootings and the follow-through today with, it's not going to go away. There's people that are going to be mentally affected for a long, long time. And, of course, those that are physically affected, all we can absolutely say is, we're thinking of you. We're praying for you, for all those that are affected. And hopefully everybody is able to pull through that right now is fighting for their lives in the local hospitals. And, again, thank you to all the folks from the Collierville Police, other law enforcement agencies, the FBI, the first responders, many, many heroes that are included, the workers right there, the workers at Kroger for a tremendous job in helping and doing everything they can. Some of those law enforcement people just running into the store, not knowing if there was multiple shooters or if they had assault weapons, things of that nature. Just a lot of heroes out there. So I'm proud to be a Memphian. Of course, Collierville, a suburb, but by golly, I have so many friends in Collierville, and it's right around the corner. It is home. It is our backyard. So, again, keep your thoughts and prayers out there for everybody involved. The NFL this weekend, we had the one game last night with Carolina and Houston. Injuries already taking a toll. In Miami, no Tua Tagovailoa. You have Jacoby Brissett, who will be starting. Justin Fields, I talked to Randy Fietner about the rookie out of Ohio State, will start for the Bears over Andy Dalton. Tyrod Taylor, of course, was out last night. You had another rookie, Davis Mills, quarterbacking for the Houston Texans in a 24-9 loss. And it's not just quarterbacks. Christian McCaffrey got hurt last night. The word is that he'll be out at least 3 weeks. Of course, last year it was a horrible year for McCaffrey with injuries. And rookie J.C. Horn broke his foot yesterday. Big loss for Carolina. So they moved to 3-0, but they got their hits as they lost Horn for the season and McCaffrey for at least 3 weeks. Looking at some of the numbers for this weekend's NFL games, Arizona 7.5-point favorite at Jacksonville. As Urban Meyer would say, it's like playing Alabama every week. So Arizona's going to feel just like playing Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Indianapolis, they are 4.5-point underdogs at Tennessee. Big AFC South battle. Baltimore, 7.5-point favorite at Detroit. The Washington football team is a 7-point underdog on the road at Buffalo. New England, a 3-point favorite over New Orleans at home. Kansas City, a 7-point favorite over the Chargers at home. The Giants are a home favorite by 3 over the Falcons. Cleveland, a 7.5-point favorite over the Bears. Pittsburgh, 3-point favorite over the Bengals. Las Vegas and Miami. Las Vegas is a 3.5-point favorite over the Dolphins. Once again, no Tua Tagovailoa. The Denver Broncos, a 10.5-point favorite over the New York Football Jets. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a 1.5-point favorite over the Rams. I really think the Rams are going to win that game. I know I'm probably bucking the odds here going against the grain, but Tampa Bay, a road favorite. They've been playing great football. I still think the Rams will beat them this weekend. Seattle -2 at Minnesota. Green Bay is a 3-point dog at San Francisco. That's an interesting line. And on Monday Night Football, it is Dallas -3.5 over the Philadelphia Eagles. Time now for one final thing.
Before Greg and Eli get out of here for the day, they each have one final thing they think you should know to make it through the rest of your day. So here are Greg and Eli with one final thing.
4-time NBA champion Manu Ginobili one of the greats of all time, great international player, great player, period, is returning to the Spurs as a special advisor to basketball operations. He'll work in a player-centric role focusing on the on- and off-court development of the young Spurs roster. Since his NBA retirement in 2018, he played 16 seasons in San Antonio. The organization has been persistent in trying to convince Ginobili of taking on an organizational role with the franchise. I think that's big, to have players who starred within an organization back in the fold. And I think this can only help the San Antonio Spurs moving forward with their young players, the development of the young players with the help of Manu Ginobili. One other NFL injury, Adam Schefter's reporting that the Vikings are listing running back Dalvin Cook as questionable for their game Sunday with the Seattle Seahawks. If you missed it from earlier, the Ryder Cup is off and rolling, and so is the USA. They took 3 of the 4 matches today in the foursomes. It's basically alternate shot is what they do, and they're up 3-1 on the Europeans going into Saturday's play. But the one U.S. team or tandem that lost was Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth, if you have not seen it, one of the greatest shots I have ever seen. I mean, period. One of the greatest shots that I've ever seen. You need to find the video. I'm sure it'll be all over the place. It'll be on SportsCenter. Check it out. Some incredible shot making from Jordan Spieth. The Tigers tomorrow and UTSA. I'll be out there on the sideline. Hope to see you at the game. Again, the weather should be absolutely spectacular. If you had a chance to win tickets today on Middays, congratulations. If not, Gabe Kuhn will give you that opportunity coming up here from 1 to 3. Sports 56 Happy Hour. 2 more chances to win a pair of tickets to go see the Tigers and UTSA.
So what do you expect for the Tigers to do in this game?
I expect them to win. I expect them to cover. But I think this game is going into the fourth quarter. I think it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be a battle. You have a good defensive team, a really good defensive team in the Roadrunners who are really good against the rush. It's going to be important for Memphis to establish the rush. They weren't able to do it against Mississippi State until the second half. They got a lot better running the ball. First half, it was non-existent, and they were still able to figure out a way to win the football game. They'll get some pressure on Hennigan. They got a lot of veterans on that defense. I don't know if they'll hit him as much as State was able to do, but I think the running game is going to be important. Brandon Thomas will be a key. That offensive line will be a key. But I think this is going to be a fourth quarter battle. I would be surprised if either team wins this going away. I think it'll be close. The line is 3.5. Memphis a favorite. They opened up as a 5-point favorite in Vegas, and it's been bet down to about 3.5. The only thing I worry a little bit about is a sluggish start after the great game last Saturday. You're still kind of in a euphoric feeling after beating Mississippi State. You have to come back down to earth, and I do believe Ryan Silverfield and his staff have made sure that those guys understand that as they get ready for a very good football team. I want to thank our guests today, Dave Sampson, John Varlas, Drew Hill, and Randy Fietner. Now, if you missed any of our guests or you missed other hours of this show, you can always go back on the website, sports56whbq.com. Go back to the website. You can listen to podcasts of every single show. We break it down by hours. And some of the guests that we have, we put it in a featured audio category, so you can check them out. For example, yesterday, Ryan Silverfield and Coach Jeff Traylor from UTSA, they are in featured audio if you want to go back and listen to their interviews before you go watch the Tigers play tomorrow. We want to thank you for listening, folks, for your texts, for your calls. We appreciate you just kicking back and being with us here on Sports 56 Middays. As I've mentioned a couple of times, Gabe Kuhn is pinch hitting for John Harden. He has done so all week long. Today, no exception. We'll be back in just a few moments for the final show this week. Brian Dacus producing the program as well. So, for Eli Savoy, who's back with me on Monday, for Zach Boyd, for Gabe Kuhn, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Monday.